What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for finding the YouTube channel. My name is RJ, also known as Liquid Music Entertainment. I am so excited about this one. We get to sit down in the month of November and sit down with NikkiKittens. She could be found over at twitch.tv/NikkiKittens, literally spelled exactly that. What's awesome about this one is that we got to sit down, not only talk to a friend that's been around the channel for a very long time, and a friend that I consider a really great friend, but she also went through a great journey just recently, and we got to talk about it. And what's great about this is that since it's been in the news lately and it's scattered around everywhere and it's a topic that everybody's been talking about, we got to sit down and talk firsthand to somebody that actually went through it and how it changed her life. And if you don't know what that is, it's IVF. It's in vitro fertilization. I've said that 7,000 times and I've still stumbled when I say it. And then when I look it up, spelling, is it with an S or with a Z? I mean, it just, the conversation is just weird. Anyway, I am super excited to sit down with her. We get to know her a little bit, know her hobbies, get to talk about all her streaming adventures, because she's also a streamer as well. But we get to sit down and talk our main topic about IVF. It's a great journey. It's a great understanding of how things work, because I literally did a little bit of research when we talked about what IVF was. But then I actually got to the point where I actually learned a lot about it, not just in the conversation, but in the research for this conversation. So hopefully when you guys sit down and watch this and actually give it a little bit of time, you'll learn something too, because it's phenomenal to talk to somebody that has gone through from the very beginning of IVF to actually becoming a brand new mom. So it was a great conversation, and you found it. You're here and you get to see all this stuff done. So I'm super excited to share this with you. Every single month we sit down and we try to find somebody that has a story to tell. We try to get it together and we try to tell the story. So hopefully you enjoy this one. Back in November, we got to sit down right after the election. Don't worry, we didn't talk any political stuff in this one, just about, how IVF works and how becoming a new mom and all that kind of stuff and how to balance life and things like that. So don't worry about any of that. We got you. And it's entertaining and it's freaking phenomenal. And right up here in this area, somewhere up here, I'll drop a link of one of the videos before, because they're freaking awesome, and to get to sit down with people and actually have a conversation, which is super awesome. We've had a lot of people talk about podcasting, talk about computers. We talk about 10 years of streaming. Damn, 10 years of streaming. Holy shit. That's a lot. We also talked about military. We talked about life in Australia. We talked about life in England, being a video gamer, like a video game developer, a whole bunch of stuff, and a whole bunch of stuff that we talked about. And we have had an interview every single month for quite a while. So this intro is getting way too long, so I apologize. Let's jump into the interview that we did last month with NikkiKittens, and the description will be all below. If you like any of this, share it, like it, subscribe to it. We try to do this every single time. It's only a monthly video. Yeah, it's a little bit long. A lot of people that I've found has done a lot of putting it on, doing dishes or something like that, and then message me later saying, man, I learned a lot by this video. So y'all, seriously, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Like I said, if this is your first time here, take a minute, see what you got. Like and subscribe it, all that kind of stuff. Oh, and before you go, this little icon up here that says CTV partner, we play a game every single month when we're live. So during the interview, you see it in the bottom left, in the center of the screen. If for some reason you have no idea what that is, that'll be in the description below as well. It's a freaking phenomenal game with design skins for it. I do like 80s and 90s skins, so you can play with those. So super awesome game that we play every single time. You'll see it through all the videos, everything that we do, because that's something we do every single time we're live. But anyway, I rambled on way too long. So let's go ahead and jump into the interview 30 seconds in. I hope you enjoy it. Sitting down with NikkiKittens about her life, hobbies, streaming, and her journey with IVF. Thank you so much. Peace. all gamers, music lovers, sports users all around the galaxy. And if you're a Padawan and at least 18 years of age, this may not be the stream for you, but you know what? You're going to learn something tonight. Fuck yes! Oh my gosh, y'all. We're gonna really have a good time. I just was messing around with my camera while we were sitting here, and I screwed it all up. I'm not gonna lie. How are y'all doing tonight? I see a lot of people that popped in the channel. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm gonna try to fix this while I can, because I feel like I was messing around with it. And I'm like, oh, I can see this. I'm like, nope, that did not work worth a shit. So I'm going to fix it real quick while we're talking here. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. I feel like I really messed this up here. I'm good till the stream streak. Well, how did the stream streak break? That's what I don't understand. Like, I understand me and Miss Night Angel actually talked about it, about what changed on her end, but I don't see what happened when everything else got changed. So I don't know where the stream streak ended for you all, but hopefully everything is hey, you know what? I know you're here, so I love you. Either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really matter, but I appreciate it. I appreciate your strive, appreciate the channel points that you get for the stream streak and all that kind of fun stuff. So I totally appreciate that. We really got a great one going on. I got some little bit of housekeeping to do really quick here. And then we'll get started for everybody that's here. Just sit down and have our co-host for November. I'm having a good night. I feel like because of having multiple tabs. Oh, because it didn't. Oh, well, if Maddie's right, I read what she was saying. If they only give you a concept of 3, so that means if you type in one, does it give you that? Like, you have to type in all of them? Or, like, it's the last 3 that you did? Hi, by the way. It's that guy. Of course you would put that in there. It's been a long time since I've done that. And look, I'm having some droppy issues, so hopefully we'll be fine all night. For everybody that was curious, I'm not going to, before we introduce everybody, I just want, like I said, we have some housekeeping to do. If you did not notice that yesterday on the YouTube channel, we did release mine and Miss Night Angel's mix. I got to turn this down. Okay, there we go. Miss Night Angel X's Nick's interview from last month on the YouTube channel. That went live yesterday. You got to watch it live with everybody, and then it's on demand now. So you can pull it up at any time to watch it. That went live yesterday at 5 p.m. Obviously, tonight we're going to have another awesome interview or kind of co-host night with NikkiKittens here in just a minute. And what's up, Wheels? And then we're going to come back on stream on Sunday. We're going to record our podcast stuff tomorrow, which is freaking fantastic. Me and Nick are going to sit down and actually record the couple first episodes of our podcast that comes out in January. So if you did not see the reveal of that, that's part of the interview that's on the YouTube channel yesterday. So if you did not know what's going on, go back and check it out and see it, because it's freaking awesome as shit. And I can't wait for that to debut. And then we're going to be live a little bit later on Thanksgiving night. And then December schedule will probably be out sometime, I would say, in the next few days. We have some manipulation to do, because I go to days right before Christmas. So that's going to throw up some scheduling conflicts for a little bit. And then we're waiting for information on a job. So if I get the job, we'll be back to nights in March. If we don't get the job, then I have no idea when I'm going to be back to nights. So we'll figure it out, and we'll work on getting into things. So, so we'll I don't know how I'm going to be able to do what I do on the day shift, because it's going to be freaking so weird to do that. So all that kind of stuff. So before we introduce our November co-host, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that came before. It's been an incredible ride doing these. One of those things that we do every single month that we started, probably, I think we're about 8 months deep now. And it's been fantastic. We get to sit down and just have a conversation, get to know another streamer, get to know like the histories. We find one topic that we want to focus on, and we talk about that, which is really freaking cool, and I love it. As a co-host, we do need to talk about that butterfly. I mean, I have some ideas for you, by the way. We'll have to talk about that a little bit later. There's some topics that I think that would be really good to educate people on, and I think you'd be the right person for that. Whether you're joining live or catching the replay on YouTube, this community wouldn't be the same without each and every one of you. You're the reason why this not just the streams thrive, but these interviews, because y'all have been watching them and you all have been enjoying them, and I appreciate that so much. Speaking of great interviews, if you missed, like I said, yesterday's feature, we had an inspiring chat with the amazing Miss Night Angel X. Yes, we're interviewing 2 Nicks in a row, by the way. We covered her life in Australia, her journey of mental health, and the exciting world premiere of our upcoming podcast. I'm not even going to talk to you about what the title is. If you didn't watch the video yesterday, then you have no idea. So go check that out, and then in about a day or so, I'll start talking the title. Y'all know the title if you've been here quite a while. So, but that's set to launch in January 2025. So it'll be super, super fun. So hope you all enjoy that. And other than that, that's really all I have for housekeeping. I've been trying to keep it short and sweet to get to whatever we're doing live tonight. And it's right there. It's right there. So, okay, so let's get this run. I try to do the best we can. You know, I'm a big fan of late night shows and all that kind of stuff. So I try to write a good intro for everybody that we do it. So here's what I got. Get ready for the amazing night with one of our OGs and truly inspiring friend of the community. Tonight we're diving into a story that's part science, part love, and all heart. Our guest has firsthand experience with a topic that's been making headlines in virtual fertilization, which you'll see, IVF. Now, don't worry. This isn't a political debate. We're not going to talk politics on should or shouldn't. Of course, I'm in the middle of the intro and you scared the fucking shit out of me. You bastards. You bastards. You bastards. You bastards. All right, where the fuck was I? Oh, I was over here. You motherfuckers. We'll get inside. We'll get an inside look at the process, hear about the emotional ups and downs, and learn how this experience shaped her life and her family. But that's not all. This powerhouse mom has many sides. She's a dedicated streamer, pole dancer, a fierce gamer, and of course, a wife and now a mother. We'll be talking about what sparked her streaming career, how she met her husband, and the unique path that led her to where she is today. So without further ado, I have to thank you for the shout out. I haven't even got there yet, but I appreciate that. Let me unmute the channel and get over here, and you guys can see what everything's doing here. So I appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Hey, look, there's Nikki right there. Hey, what's up? How you doing?
It's me. Hi, guys.
And we get to see you live. You're back to streaming too, by the way. How was, before we even get into anything, how was the break from having baby to back to streaming? Was it a good break, mental break? Was it something good, bad, all that stuff?
I don't know that I would say it was good, because streaming to me is really like therapeutic and I enjoy it. So I hated to give it up, but I just couldn't squeeze it in for a long time. And I'm just starting to get back into it.
And how long did it take for you to realize how to balance the time and how to make sure that it worked out compared to what you were doing with baby and family and all that kind of stuff? How did you feel comfortable getting back in?
So initially I was waiting until the baby didn't wake up so much at night, but we're like almost 6 months in and he's still waking up like 3 or 4 times a night. So I was like, I can't do that. I was like, I'll just take like, for his first bottle at night, I'll just take that chunk of time, which is usually like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and try to do some streams. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I try to do them on nights when my husband's away at work.
Yeah. Which mostly you did that anyway. So I mean, like now dad's gone on a trip. You decide to stream, and now it's just you and baby anyway. So now you have to balance baby, streaming, all that stuff. So right now you're lucky enough to have company in the house to watch baby, so you can stream or get information. Hey, what's up, everybody? I see everybody. I want to call you out. Sty Guy and Eagle, thank you so much for coming back. You know,
hi guys.
You know we got you. So like that makes it a little bit easier. Do you prioritize most of the time when you stream when hubby's gone, so you guys can spend together, or do you actually try to balance both to do it together?
I try to do it when he's gone so that we can have a little bit of time together. Although usually we're in here gaming, so and we play different games, so it's still kind of together, but also separate. Yeah.
Now we talked about this. If you all didn't know that, like behind the scenes, we kind of have like a pre-discussion before we start to make sure everything works. And I noticed all the baby stuff. Explain to me what the most important baby thing that you have behind you is.
Oh, the bouncer for sure. My baby is like a weirdo. He doesn't like to be rocked. He likes to bounce. So he will go ham in that thing. Like he will bounce until he has like bounce marks on his legs. Like
Oh, jeez.
he's crazy.
I mean,
But the
whatever.
pack and play is important too because he naps in there and that's my sacred time. So
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that taught me that a blow up pool with no water in it is a good way to
balls.
keep, yeah, or balls or whatever,
Put
to keep
balls in
the
it.
baby like happy and doing their thing while you're outside, but yet still be able to do your thing, and they're all protected because it's all like a blown up wall. It's like
Yeah,
it's on its insane room.
he's close to crawling, so that's gonna change the game a lot. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, that changes a lot. I think the only thing that I remember, trying to think of the most important baby item that I had. I think
Actually, if I could change my answer, it would be the freaking bottle maker because that thing is a godsend. Like bottles in 2 seconds is the best thing ever.
what, just like it mixes the water and the powder and it mixes it
Yeah, it
all up.
keeps the water hot like a Keurig,
What?
and it puts the right amount of powder in, and it's just done.
I did not have that, and that sounds amazing.
It is.
I think I had a cage. Like there was a cage that I had that was about, I want to say like 20 feet. I mean, it was huge. You could separate it in pieces, but I like we got like two
Welcome, Yellow
sections,
Bing Bing.
and we had the big thing and whatever. I think I had a turning. Oh shit. The like yeah, I kept them inside, even in the basement when I streamed, or whatever. They could just stay in there and have a good time, and they would like yeah. I
Yeah,
think
my
I
friend
used
calls
the
that
longest.
baby jail.
Exactly.
And I need to set up my baby jail.
I mean, if it keeps them happy, keeps them around. That's all that matters, really, truly. It's the way I see it.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped over the intro. So do you want to introduce yourself to everybody and kind of tell who you are and where to find you and all that kind of stuff?
Obviously you know where to find me because it's on like 6 places on the screen.
Everywhere.
But yeah, NikkiKittens. I've been streaming probably about as long as you have, so that's like 4 years, I
Yeah.
guess, with a big break somewhere in there. I am a crazy cat lady. This is one of my cats, Aria. It's kind of hard to see her right now, but she's right here on my lap. And I have another cat, and I'd have like 20 more if I could. I like cars. I have a pink car, not like a subtle pink car, but like a really, really pink car. I like anime. And I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. What else is there in a generalization?
You like exercise by pole dancing?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we'll talk about more
Yep.
of that later, but I was just like, yeah, for sure.
That's one too.
Yeah. I'm gonna dive deep into that a little bit later, so I don't want to like scratch the surface there. And likes to
wait.
drink. I mean, so does everybody. I mean, like we all need that
What?
little. We all need a little bit of drink a little bit later on. Also doing food challenges. Oh yeah, I do remember the
I do
food
not like
challenge.
doing the
I
food
don't like doing them,
challenges.
but I'll do them.
I like the stories I can tell about them, but doing them is a different story.
One of the questions I have on here is like to get to know you a little bit more. I know that I guess like the question will be like where originally from, and then you ended up West Coast then East Coast. Can you explain to me kind of like that journey of where from one coast to another, and then like kind of wrap it all in a bow with a like I like this area better because of this?
Sure. So I grew up in, they call it the tri-state, where Maryland and West Virginia and Pennsylvania are like joined together kind of. So I feel like I grew up in all 3 states at once, but West Virginia was always it's my heart. It's the one that I feel like I don't know. Parts of me are Maryland because I love crabs, but West Virginia takes the cake. But when my husband and I met, we moved to California for a job opportunity for him. It had its perks, but I got really homesick, so we ended up coming back. And we picked Maryland because he needed to be close to airports for his job.
Yeah.
So
then
yeah, I would say West Virginia is the best.
is it more
Best state song. Love it.
It's fair. Is it because it just feels like home, or is it because there's actually things that you're more comfortable being around?
I think it's beautiful. I think it's just more natural and beautiful than like Maryland or Pennsylvania. I don't know. It just feels It just feels right to me.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
Well, and when you were living in California, did you get out and actually see like sights and see like things around?
We did. We went to LA, which I don't know why people want to live there. I mean, I'm sure there's great parts of it, but yeah, we went to see like the Hollywood sign, and we went to Long Beach, and we went to some like places that weren't too far away, but
Like, did all the touristy stuff and then
yeah.
said, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, I get
Yeah.
that. I feel like I don't think I've been to LA, but I've been like countless. I'm in double handfuls of places for military and stuff, and we always try to like find one thing that somebody in the group has never done before, and that's usually the hardest thing to do, because obviously if you're traveling a lot together, but that's what makes it fun, because you're like, oh, well, there's 6 of us here, but the 5th one hasn't done this. Let's go do that, and now we're all caught up. Now let's go find something that none of us have done, and it's always fun to see something new and all that kind of stuff. Just the train, yeah. Because I mean, like, Allie, when you went through LA, did you go through LA when you went to Vegas? Like, did it go all the way across then down? Like or like not LA, but San Diego. Like, you went that way for TwitchCon. And if you didn't know, Allie, we've sat down before and talked to her, but we haven't done this particular sit down with her before. She rode a train all the way from Wisconsin to San Diego to do TwitchCon. I don't know how you did that, but
Oh, your butt must have hurt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. LA going to San Diego. Okay, I mean, give me a sleep thing. Maybe that rocking will keep me asleep the whole time. But I mean, oh my gosh. But yeah, I really feel like so like if someone said, so West Virginia is yours, like, to sell your area to somebody that's never been there before, it's more of just the nature part of it, or is it, can you like say, hey,
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the natural beauty. Less developed. You don't really get that. I mean, I guess out in like the middle of the US you would get that a lot more, but like Maryland is pretty much cities, and at least the parts that I spend time in.
So like,
Maryland's got better food though.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not, I mean, how far away would traveling to get the better crab, or, I mean, when I've been in Maine once, I had the best clam chowder in my entire life. Never had anything better since, and that's something I'll never forget.
California topped on the food. I gotta give them that. They had everything you could want except good seafood, honestly. Like, where we were was like a few hours inland, but I don't know, everything else you could possibly want, like Indian, Thai, anything you could want, you could find within like 10 minutes.
And is that
so I missed that.
Yeah. And then what is your go-to food now that you're back home?
We haven't got to try very much because we have the baby. So we tend to go to like casual places like Wingstop, or like if we want to go somewhere fancy, it's still not fancy. Like, he was talking about going to a steakhouse the other day, and I was like, how am I gonna have the baby at a steakhouse? And he's like, we'll just go to Outback. They don't care. I'm like, oh, I guess that'll work.
I mean, most places nowadays with the restaurants and stuff, they just want your business. They don't care what you do. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, but I don't know. We went once, and I ended up having to leave halfway through the meal and take him out to the car, and I was like, why do I even?
Because of fussy. Because they fussy.
Yeah.
We've done that before. So here's what I kind of want to do before we get into like all life hobby streaming. That you see the categories on top for everybody that's here, and even before that, I want to prelude, which has never happened before. For everybody that's questioning this, me and Nikki had a debate on this one. Here is I had to look up the spelling of IVF, and it has it both. It has it with an S and it has it with a Z. So I did not understand the difference, but the definition had it with an S, so I just went with an S. But when you look it up, it still recognizes it with a Z. So they must have figured out a way to approve it with both. So if you all are seeing that and you are still curious, and you're spelling Nazis that are out there, because I know you do it to me all the time when I'm in chat and all that kind of stuff. You're like, correct my spelling. Just so you know, I looked it up and it was both. So before the prelude of prelude here.
I was just going off of autocorrect
I know,
on
that's
my
what I'm
phone. I
saying.
was like,
And then I Googled it and showed it to you. You're like, oh, well, I see both now.
yeah,
But I
learn
don't, yeah, I
something.
don't know which one's right. Let's just see it, press on, and then move on from there. Obviously about 4 years. You said earlier about streaming. I hit my 4 year next month. You've got to be coming up, what, December, January, give or take.
Oh gosh, I feel like I started in November or December, so
Oh,
it's
so you
probably
are
either
you
past or
are you
almost past.
you hit it the same time I did. I bet you could probably look that up later, but we'll
Yeah.
um the Z sounds, it looks better. Yeah, no, I mean you're right. The Z probably does look better, but I mean I just was spelling. I knew someone would say something, but that's why I wanted to prelude. So I kind of want to talk about your, like, why did you start streaming? I'm guessing pandemic, like I did, all that kind of stuff, and like what's inspired you to go live, and then what inspired you to stay live, because there's two different aspects to that. So I kind of want to explore that real quick.
So I started because actually when we moved to California and my husband would go on work trips. So he's a pilot for those in chat who don't know me. So he would be gone for days at a time and I was just lonely and bored and playing video games by myself. And I was like, I could actually make friends maybe by doing this
Yeah.
and not be by myself. So that's kind of what got me started. And then, yeah, the pandemic definitely helped that happen more. So.
And how many people, like when I look back at it, I mean, like me and you from the very beginning.
Welcome Z0RK underscore
a couple
I.
other people. What's up, Zord? A couple other people I can name too. How many people are still OGs from within the first few months of getting started?
You, Habitual, one of my other mods, mostly all my mods, I feel like.
Yeah, because we all are trusted now because we've stuck around for 4 years.
SPI guy was there pretty early. My other mod, Hockey, he was there pretty early.
Oh yeah, Hockey. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all the mods have been there for a while, and then there's a few viewers that I can think of.
Like Spider.
Feel like
Spider's probably been there
Spider's the first one I was thinking of.
Like Spider's been there a long time, but still not a mod.
Welcome Habitual 1.
And he never will be.
That's because we feel sorry for you. Damn,
that.
Habitual. Damn. I don't know if you're reading chat, but I'll read it if you don't. But
I would expect nothing less from him.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then
where's Spider though? He's not here.
He usually
I want
pops
to
in
give him some crap.
when he wakes up or when the weed wears off. That's usually.
Oh god. Okay.
Welcome Tereska.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much for the sub for Habitual. I appreciate it. And also, before I forgot, thank you so much, Nikki, for resubbing at 39. By the way, I appreciate that. So the one thing that we haven't heard yet is there what keeps you going after 4 years? Because if you're at the 4 year mark and you're not, we can look that up too on your dashboard. But like, what keeps you going? Like, why does it keep going? All that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh. I think just truly enjoying it. There were definitely days where before I took my break where I would sign up to stream and I would be like, man, I wish I hadn't said that I wanted to stream because I just feel like being lazy on the couch. But 95% of the time I really do. It's something I do really like to get on and do.
Yeah, this is the
some
reason
of my
why I make a
best
schedule.
friends are on here. I'm gonna make sure she don't turn my computer off. Oh god. Okay.
Your 10th gifted sub, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the main reason why I do a schedule, because then it gets my ass out of bed and freaking says,
yeah,
all right, you told everybody you're streaming today, get up and go. That's exactly right. And then because we're gonna there's a reason why I want to lean from that inspiration into the life, hobbies, and streaming, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, so now that you've decided to stream and kind of to make friends and kind of like have something to do during the time where no one's around or whatever, what is it that when you decided to stream, okay, so you wanted to be this type of streamer, you wanted to do pole dancing, you wanted to be games, you wanted to just chat, whatever like that, what kind of directed your path of what you wanted to do, and how did you decide to do it?
I was very uneducated about Twitch when I started. I didn't even know there were things other than video games. So I initially was going in thinking I would just do video games, but then I actually remember my first sub, I think it was sub, no, it was my first donation ever was when I decided to do like a Christmas tree putting up stream.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody donated because I didn't have a tree topper. And I was like, I will remember this moment forever. That was my first donation.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, that was kind of fun. And I was like, I could stream whatever. And I just started streaming whatever. Honestly, I did cooking. I did, I think I washed my car once.
I think I do.
I just streamed
remember.
everything.
I
I
remember
remember
cooking,
'cause-
whatever. I do remember.
Yeah,
that, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I did a good many cooking ones, and I'm a way better cook now than then. So I should do some more.
So, what made you decide to go? Okay, I want to do something else like pole dancing, or besides the normal? Because I mean, obviously there's a section of Twitch that does pole dancing, but obviously you have to have a lot more confidence in yourself to do that. Like, what made
Welcome,
you
8 row.
get that? Hey, Hayden.
I think just seeing other streamers doing it and realizing that would have fun doing it too.
Mhm. I still
Miss the cook.
Yeah, there you go, Stein. Yeah. I do miss the cooking ones. Well, I mean, okay, so since you brought that up, looking back at all the cooking streams that you've done, which one do you think you enjoyed the most?
Gosh, I don't even remember exactly what I did cook on stream. He's
Like, I
gonna
was trying to
walk
think of,
across
like,
my keyboard.
Did you do baking? Did you?
I did baking and cooking.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know. They were all fun. I think the ones where the food actually turned out tasting good.
I mean, like, if that's fair.
'Cause there were times I would do all that work and I'd get to the end and I'd be like, yeah, it's okay.
You like you do all the prep work on stream, and then you go taste it, and you just put this fake face on. It's like, this is wonderful, and then you stop streaming, like out the bin it goes.
I used to do streams of just like when we first moved to California, I would order all of our like furniture off Amazon, and I would stream just putting it all together. Those were kind of fun too because I could just talk and get something done at the same time.
Those are the ones where sometimes, and I remember this, is that and SDI guys, you remember, you would be putting something together, then it'd be a lot of talking, and then you'd be talking, doing whatever, and then it'd be like, aren't you supposed to be putting something together? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this, and you can go back to putting shit.
I should do it when my new desk comes. I don't know how hard it'll be, but
I mean, it's a corner desk, right, with the risers.
yeah, with
And
electric adjust.
Would you be doing it all yourself, or
Welcome,
would you
Panther
and hubby
Girl
do be doing it at the same time?
2021.
Probably just be. I usually just do it by myself.
I mean,
I'm independent.
I noticed that, and for those that don't know, when I say Big D, it's because his Twitch name starts with a D, and it's always capitalized. Has nothing to do with anything else, by the way. I just want to be very, very clear. So when I say hubby or Big D, y'all know what I'm talking about. So, like, I noticed that he doesn't get on stream with you very often. Is there a reason for that, or just because? I mean, he gets on there, talks and chats and stuff like that, but I don't see him on stream as often.
Yeah, we don't play the same kind of games really. He's really big into League of Legends. He's playing right now.
Yeah.
And I do not, that's not my kind of game. And all the games that I'm obsessed with are not really his kind of, so we don't mesh a lot on
Welcome
types of games
despotically.
we play often, at least not PC.
Speaking of D. Speaking of Big D.
What did I miss?
Nothing. I have Yoda down here for everybody that doesn't know it. Yoda says hi to everybody, no matter if you're a lurker or whatever. Once you join the channel, Yoda says hi to everybody. And like, I don't call you out because everybody says, well, when the streamer calls you out, when you're just lurking, that's not what you want.
I think I did notice it announce
So,
STI guy or something. I was like,
yeah,
he is.
Says hi to everybody, and then when they do channel points, it basically says what they do and all that kind of stuff. But I always wanted to bring Yoda on the stream, and obviously you could tell with my whole background is Yoda stuff. Yeah, once I figured out how to do it, he's been here ever since. So our topics, we kind of have like a 3 and a 1, and then IVF. We're gonna burn out IVF a little bit later on because I want you all to understand who the person is before we start getting into why and IVF and all that kind of stuff. So that was the point of this one. So getting to know like a little bit of life. Can you like tell us a little bit about like history and like childhood and then history and like high school and all that kind of stuff? Kind of give us like a elevator pitch or even a little bit longer of like how you were brought up and what made you who you are today.
Okay, so
Take your time. I mean, nothing
it's
big
such
deal.
a big thing
I know it's
to
open world.
my entire childhood, which is getting longer all the time because I'm old. Um, so let's see. I feel like I don't remember much before my parents got divorced, but that was when I was going into like 5th grade. So that's when I actually moved to West Virginia to live with my mom primarily. Went to school in West Virginia. My friends
I know.
we're all there. High school. Yep, I pretty much stayed there through all high school, and then I went to college in Maryland. I don't know. I can't think of really anything notable about my childhood.
Well, let's talk about.
I'm sure
like,
there are things.
So let's talk about like what did you do in high school? Did you do like choir? Did you do band? Did you do acting, sports, all that kind of stuff? Let's start there.
I probably started my nerddom in high school, so I didn't do like sports or anything. I did band in middle school, but I didn't stick with it. I probably should have.
Yeah,
I think I quit because you couldn't take band and this other class I wanted to take, so I was like, forget band, I'm quitting.
That's funny because I did the exact same thing. So like
Yeah.
they wanted me to do this and like, cool, I'll do that. No, I don't want to do that anymore.
So yeah, high school I didn't take anything. I was pretty boring in high school. I was really quiet. I just stuck to kind of my own little group of like 3 friends that I really liked, and that was about it.
Yeah.
College I did take belly dancing while I was in college. They offered it on our college campus. I actually took that class with my stepmom, which was really a cool kind of bonding experience with her.
Yeah.
Which is another misunderstood thing besides like pole dance is belly dance, because people of all types do it. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then,
what did you go to college for?
yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
sorry.
I
I was
went
right with you.
initially for dental hygiene, which is what my life plan was like throughout my entire adolescence. I was going to be dental hygienist because it's like 2 years of school and you could make over 100,000. I was like, that sounds good.
That's all right. Yeah.
Less
Man, now I
school, more
want to do
money.
that. Shit. Is it too late? Fuck.
But I ended up, it sounds like an excuse, but it's true that they didn't tell me I needed some of the extra, like, you know, the stupid stuff you have to take before you actually start the program.
The prerequisites and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the dumb stuff that's like
Yeah.
generalized. Well, they did not tell me about some of my classes that I needed until I was already in the program, and they're like, you need to take these. So I took them on top of my other programs, and I ended up failing some of my dental programs. So
Oh no.
it was either wait a whole like 2-year cycle to get in with the next group, or I took my credits I had and was able to get into respiratory therapy. So I graduated from respiratory therapy, but I didn't like it.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't end up really using that degree, but I have a degree. My mom always told me, as long as you have a degree, even if you don't use it. And I was like, Mom, you cursed me because now I have a degree and I don't use it.
There's a high percentage, and I don't remember what it was. I think we talked about this in the previous one, but there's a really high percentage of people that get a degree and don't use that specific degree. A lot of it is just, hey, look, proof that I went somewhere, got this piece of paper, and now they'll hire you because it shows that you went to college and got a
True,
degree.
yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you did, and then all of a sudden they're in a totally different area. So I totally understand that for sure.
I am glad that I did graduate. I feel like the dental thing was better for me because I didn't have someone's actual life in my hands. Like with respiratory, you are running their ventilators, and if you mess something up, like they could die, and that really like messed with me. So I was like, I just don't see myself doing this for my life,
Yeah.
my whole life.
So what have you like done in the meantime? Like what have you like explored job wise and all that kind of stuff? I mean, besides streaming.
So
of course.
from there, I went into my family owned a business. It was like a salvage grocery goods type of store. We would get like weird stuff, like if there's a misprint on an item and they can't sell it at the market, or
Oh yeah.
like bulk things, just really like neither here nor there things. So we had that store for like 10 years. I worked there for all 10 years. Then they sold it shortly after I moved to California. Then when I went to California, I just did food delivery, like DoorDash. I think I ran DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub at the same time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
I got good at it. Like it's not great bragging rights to say you're a DoorDash driver, but I got pretty good at it. And then when we came back here and left California, people here don't have that kind of money, so not great for delivery work.
Yeah.
So I actually went back to working at the store my parents had owned, but I worked for the new owners. And then I also worked at Bath and Body Works at the same time.
Oh. So
and now I just do the mom thing, and that's way harder work than any job I've ever had.
I've tried to tell that to my wife's a chiropractor, but she breastfed them. I had twins, by the way, just so for those that don't know, and breastfed them to her 3.5, 4 probably. And I was like, I don't know how she did that for that many kids, or their 2 kids for that.
I don't
years.
either.
I don't.
I did not. I wasn't able to do that at all. So
good for her,
I know that adds a lot.
Yeah. So if you think, and then you're working on top of that, so you're doing all that in bottles and it's just You really just drove around drinking Starbucks. I mean,
I did do that.
In between, yeah, of course. I mean, you're gonna.
STI guy supported my Starbucks habit. He was on top of those gift cards. I would go every day, like no lie. Every day I worked, I would stop at Starbucks.
What was your?
They knew me so well.
What was your go-to drink for Starbucks?
A venti, sugar-free, cold brew with vanilla.
Oh, well, I mean, that's fine. That's fair enough. I mean,
that's not my favorite drink, but it's one I can drink every day and not feel guilty. So
not feel guilty.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
If I'm drinking an apple crisp frappuccino, that's my favorite. I drink that every day.
Do they do it all season of the apple crisp?
No, it's fall only.
Seasonal. Yeah.
Probably about done. It might be done
by about the same time they do the pumpkin one, I'm sure. Or wait, never mind. They do pumpkin now like 2 months earlier because they know it's popular.
Oh yeah.
That's just crazy.
People sleep on the apple crisp though. It's better than pumpkin, I'm telling you.
Was it because it just tasted good, or do you think actually the caffeine did something good for you?
It just tastes good. I mean, I guess the caffeine worked. I don't know. I used to sleep until like 10 a.m. every day. That was nice too, because deliveries didn't get good till lunchtime. So
did you just do basically during the daytime and not evenings then?
Yeah, I did lunch between like lunch and dinner.
And that was the hottest time, of course, probably. But
dinner was probably better, but I didn't want to be out all night. So
yeah, no, I get that. I mean, with all that stuff. I mean, if you're just doing delivery of the food, that's one thing. But if you're like, I can't imagine the people that pick up the drunk drivers and do like Uber.
Oh yeah, hubby drives Uber here. If he has days where he just wants to go do whatever, and I was like, do you think it would be safe for me to do it? And I was like, I don't know.
Maybe during the daytime, maybe, but I wouldn't want to do that at night.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so we're kind of we talked about the history of life, and let's talk about hobbies now. Like, I did pick a really cool pole dancing icon up there. Thought that was kind of cute. So
ooh,
yeah, I don't know if you noticed that. So why did you get started? How did, we kind of briefly went over this a little bit. When you decided that you saw other streamers doing it and you want to do it on stream, and then how did you get good at it? And the last one would be talk about the equipment, because obviously I got some jokes and I've got some things that go with that, but work that way so I can.
Okay.
So
I started because this is a silly reason to start, but my sister had one in her apartment, and we went out one night and went to the bars, and we came back to her apartment, and I tried it, and I I loved it. I loved how it feels like the closest thing to like flying.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's just a cool, like, I don't want to say weightless because it's a lot of hard work and it's definitely not weightless, but it's a really cool feeling. I don't know. You guys should try it if you ever have the opportunity. But then when I actually started going to get lessons, well, and I kind of tried to self-teach myself before I went to get lessons. I realized it's a really good workout and it's hard and it really makes you feel good because there's so many moves you can learn and you'll pick up on like a few at each just a few at a time.
Yeah.
And as you get stronger, you're able to do these cool new things. And so it keeps it exciting. It's not like, I don't know, other sports and going to the gym, which gets really repetitive and like monotonous to me. So yeah, I just really got addicted to learning new things and being able to string things together. And I love the shoes. I love wearing those shoes. And yeah, so I took the lessons in California for like a year. The studio there wasn't quite what the studio I'm going to now is. They were more interested in like bachelorette parties and like, which are fun too, but not learning actual like skill-based tricks like I want to do now.
Yeah.
So I actually took my test today to move up. So in like karate, what's the first color belt you move up?
You'd have to ask, but I think that isn't it like white, yellow.
You go white to
green
yellow?
somewhere? I don't know. White, green, yellow. I don't know. Somewhere in
Well,
there.
I
but yeah.
took the test today to move up my first theoretical belt and I
Yeah.
passed. So that was
Awesome.
exciting.
Yay.
It was harder than I thought though. I really thought I was going in there and have everything perfect and I didn't. But I still passed.
So like,
So we'll see.
what does that consist of? Like, obviously the first, like, they just kind of go over the basics or whatever. So it's like, okay, you know how to do that. Then what is the levels like to pass then?
So the way she explained it to me is there's actually like it's like a pole federation that handles like real competitions, and they have 5 levels, and in order to compete in each level you have to be able to do certain things. So she said they base the levels at the studio on their system. Like in order to move up to level 2 you have to be able to do, it's called a tuck, where you pull your body weight up pretty much to your elbows off the ground. And I had to be able to do a few other things. But to move up from 2 to 3, I have to be able to pull my body weight up and then go upside down. So I think I'll be at 2 for a while. But we'll see. She thinks that I won't. She's like, "Oh, you're so close. You're closer than you think." I'm like, "It doesn't feel like it."
I mean, it's more the confidence thing. It's like, until you do it once, like, oh yeah, I can do this, and then you press on or whatever. But like, you're like,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like the streamers I would watch that did it, I would watch them and be like, "Oh, I feel like I could do that." And then I tried it and I'm like, "Nope." It's harder than it looks for sure.
I don't know how what the anxiety is for like going from one level to another for pole dancing, but like, I was just, as a parent, as being watching, is it white then red stripe maybe? Okay, yeah, I'd have to look it up to get it, whatever. But watching the kids do the steps for swimming, because I don't know if you decide to put baby in swimming lessons someday. One of the steps, and I think it's like 4 to 6 or whatever, and one of them is being able to hold your breath 30 seconds under the water as you press off. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm watching this, and you know, my kids are 8 now. They were swimming lessons 6 or 7, give or take. And when he would jump off and go in the water, every second freaks the fuck out as the parent watching. And I was like, oh God, come on, come out of the water, come out of the water, come out of the water, come out of the water. And he comes out just fine. I was like, oh fucking thank God. And it doesn't change every single time he did it. I was like, get out of the water, get out of the water, get out of the water.
Oh yeah, I thought before I had my son I was gonna be such a tough parent and all this stuff, and now I'm like, I don't want him to play sports; he'll get hurt, and I'm like, that's my baby.
Yeah, I feel that. Would you like the equipment wise? So like when you're talking about like the shoes and stuff like that, like explain to us like what. Especially in the classes, like, are they required to have those type of high heel shoes, or the specific shoes for the class versus style, I guess would be a good question.
So the classes I go to, the shoes are optional, except for there is one class, it's called heels class, where you obviously have to have heels for heels class.
Makes sense in the title, yeah.
But yeah, I usually wear them if I'm feeling confident about what we're doing. If I feel like I'm not very good at it, I just do it barefoot until I feel like I'm good at it, because they are like adding giant ankle weights.
Oh, jeez.
They're very heavy. I started in 7-inch and I just recently moved up to 8-inch, and it's like way harder for me for some reason. But yeah, so I would say shoes are optional. They're just fun.
Yeah.
The pole itself is a big investment, because if anybody's thinking about trying it or doing it, don't buy like a cheap Amazon pole. That's your body. Like there's like 3 reputable brands, and I would not suggest like an Amazon cheap pole.
Habitual says it makes sense. An inch is pretty big, right? Yeah. It makes a huge difference. It can make a huge difference, especially in balance. I mean, come on, like. Anyway, I can make that joke too. Go back to the pole wise, like you don't want to get the cheap ones, because I mean you can Google search and YouTube it and all that kind of stuff. The ones that like screw in and whatever like that, and you're doing the turns and you didn't realize the pole is turning with you, and then all of a sudden the pole goes and you go. I mean, yeah,
it happened once with my pole, but it was kind of my fault, and it actually happened to hubby.
Oh, no.
He walked in with like a running start and like was gonna like just walk around it. And it was like when we had COVID for weeks. I swear I had COVID for 3 weeks the first time I got it. And I had not tightened the pole, because they're tension mounted, so you have to tighten them all the time. And yeah, pole went down.
Oh my gosh. So like, was he okay? Like,
yeah.
All I keep thinking about is like, holy shit.
Yeah, now I obsessively tighten it just to make sure that doesn't happen to me. But yeah.
What would be your recommendation? Mic just changed, by the way, just so you know.
It sounds way better now.
It sounds like, yeah, I didn't realize I had it on this stupid thing.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. And I was like, I walk around a lot doing things, and then I forgot to change it. So if you were going to suggest equipment, what would be the equipment you suggest for people? Like if they said, I want to do the shoes and I want to do the pole, where would they look for? Is there this official better website, not an Amazon, obviously?
X pole, just X pole is what I have. They're very reputable brand. Definitely get one that spins and stays still, because spinning is super fun. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that the pole actually spins, but it does. It's not just the person spinning all the time. You can set it either way. And shoes, I order off of Pleasers. There's a lot of good places to get shoes, honestly, as long as you buy ones that are built for dancing, because normal high heels are not glued as well and will fall apart, and yeah, you're gonna break your ankle. So
jeez. Like, is that something that when you started doing those for the first time, because obviously I've seen those damn shoes and I'd be like hell no for me, for sure. Is that something that like it took a long time to get used to, or is it something that all of a sudden just got comfortable with?
Honestly, I was so afraid of them, and I feel like they're easier to walk in than like heels girls wear to go clubbing. Like, I think the big giant platform actually makes it easier and more stable.
Oh geez, yeah.
That's what everyone says. They're like, I could not walk in those. How do you walk in those? I'm like, I couldn't walk in like not Louis Vuitton. What are those?
Like just the
those
the
heels,
ones that are
the ones
sharp
that like
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not like platform shoes. They're actually like ones that actually you could stab somebody with and hurt. And,
right.
No, you get that.
I still can't walk in those.
I can't. I no, there's no way. I can't imagine. So when you decided to start doing that on stream, like how was the reaction? How did you handle the people that actually enjoyed it versus the people that, maybe like have talked shit about it? It's like, oh, you're just doing this for this or whatever like that. How did you handle that?
I tried to educate people that it's not what it used to be, and it's not like. I like to tell people, if you're thinking about somebody doing gymnastics like horizontally on a gymnastics pole, what's the difference? Like making it vertical, think about it.
Yeah, sometimes that they turn it into like something bad, like they do with everything else,
Yeah, I mean, I get that is what it only used to be. But yeah, I just try to educate people that you can do it for whatever reason you want to do it for, but this is why I do it.
And then how long does it take you to say, ban that person because they're not understanding?
My mods were so good, they just know. That's like you guys are great.
I mean, I am one, by the way, just so y'all know.
Mod
Yeah,
somebody
for sure. Yeah.
unless they know me well enough to know, like, I feel like all my mods know me well enough to know when I'm okay and not okay with something somebody says.
Yeah, I just ban everyone. Saves time. Yeah, you're true.
He probably knows me the best of everybody.
I mean, that's fair because I mean he was a mod before I was. So, I mean, I filled in when no one was around, so I do the best I can on that one.
You stream, so you're a busy guy.
I mean, that's fair. I also have 3 other jobs and a business and all that kind of stuff, so I totally understand that. But I do my best to lurk and be in every stream I can and whatnot.
Oh,
so.
You do a great job.
I mean, it is what
I
it
need
is.
some new mods. I just haven't had anybody come along that I feel like gets me like you guys do.
I mean, it takes time. I mean, like any streamer itself, like it's
Welcome,
like,
Mumsy56.
even I've done, hey, Mumsy, for everybody that's like mods a channel, you honestly need to get to know the streamer before. I don't remember if you remember this from the very beginning. I remember people coming in and knowing that I'm brand new, and then saying, "Oh, since you're a brand new streamer, I'll mod for you." I'm like, I don't even fucking know you. Like, you just came in yesterday. Like. Stick around the channel, be around for like a good month or so, understanding that the content that I'm doing is right for you. And then if you're wanting to stick around, then we can have that discussion.
If somebody like says they want to mod for me, they're pretty much on my "you're not going to mod for me" list.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Vigil says you need new streams to get new mods.
I know.
I mean, that takes on. That takes a while. So then when you started streaming, what did you start doing first? Did you start doing just regular gaming, then decided to start cooking, then dancing? Or did it kind of flow into, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want kind of thing?
I did World of Warcraft first, which was an awful, terrible idea. Don't start in the World of Warcraft category. Just don't. Yeah, I don't even know how I got viewers in there. And that was going to be one of my thoughts with, I think one of the questions was advice I would have for streamers. And that is not that you have to do it this way, but if I had it to do again, I would get to know a few streamers in their communities before I had started. Just I don't know, just to have somebody to come hang out with you like when you're starting. It was kind of rough at first, just not knowing anybody.
Yeah, I think during COVID, I think I started, like, I had a Twitch account before, but I just like, okay, it's there, and no big deal. And then I had nothing else to do, so I started watching. Then I started modding a channel, and then they started getting too big for their britches, and I started to be like, I can do this better. Like, and plus I need mic skills. I wasn't doing weddings. I wasn't on the radio. I wasn't doing anything. And I wanted to, keep my mic skills up. So I'm like, I can start streaming and I can do whatever I want, kind of whatever. And I can definitely do better than this guy, even though he has like 80 people in his channel. And he's skipping people and not recognizing people. Even mods that are in his channel, he's ignoring. I'm like, I can do better than this. And that's what started my career. But
Interesting.
I didn't understand gaming. I just played games for fun. And I played games that he was playing because I was like, I can do better than him. And then I just realized, fuck COD, because that's exactly what I started to. And then I never played it again, and my channel ballooned. Like, it went a lot better than what it was. So I'm like, yeah, you're right about the games. For sure.
My early IRL streams did so much better than any gaming I think because, like I said, I was in the WoW category, which was very saturated. Yeah. But
like, Allie, you're in channel. Like, how you're usually in the Stream Raiders category like I am. Do you ever categorize your streams? Because you're a big WoW player. And you do a great job, by the way. I don't want to take away from that. Is there anything that you specifically... Do you categorize it in WoW? Do you think you get more followers or viewers or whatever while you're in the WoW category? Is it better when you play WoW and you're in the Stream Raiders category? That'll be one that I look forward to seeing what your answer is in chat. I stay in the Stream Raiders because of draw. Oh, fair enough.
I bet Stream Raiders would be better.
I mean, it does take its toll. Like during the interview right now, it's just down in the corner. I don't touch it. I just start it and stop it. It's not a big deal. But like when you're like playing games, like say Fortnite, because we've played Fortnite together. You play Fortnite, and then you have to throw a Stream Raiders battle up because everybody wants to see it, but yet you're playing a hard, battle royale game. That's the balance of that sucks. So I just sometimes you just leave it in the corner and just play it. Unless there's WoW drops, which is rare. So I was curious if that's the case. So when you move in from WoW to the IRL streams, like just chatting and stuff like that, like when did you decide that, okay, I'm going to move to the cooking and the pole dancing and then back to gaming? Because I mean, obviously you game as well.
I think it just went based off if I felt like I had something worth streaming, I would definitely do an IRL stream of it. I don't know. They were kind of a pain in the butt to set up because I had to use my laptop, which is now pretty much on its last leg, which is why I can't do those kind of streams anymore until I find a new laptop or until I have the funds to buy a new laptop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked them because I got to concentrate more on talking than on the game, whatever game I was playing.
I agree. That's the reason why I think it's either team games now where you have like 4 or 5 people just kind of hanging out and bullshitting, like golf with friends or whatever like that, where you can just bullshit or whatever, or even Mario Party and all that kind of stuff that we do. Or it's a single player game where I can pause it, I can talk and do whatever, play a game when I want, and then kind of like talk about whatever during a single player game. I think is what I have more fun doing now. What game now, if you were going to play, are you more like looking forward to playing every time you stream, or even if you don't stream, if you want to play a game, which one is like currently now your go-to game?
7 Days to Die.
And
anybody who's been in my channel knows that I have a huge addiction to 7 Days to Die.
Welcome Carlos _235.
So my friends and I that play, we're kind of waiting on the new mods to be updated to make it harder because we like to make ourselves more miserable.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say favorite video games ever would be like that and WoW. Which I bought the new WoW expansion and I haven't even finished like the story of it. So. And
you do more WoW offline than you do online, right?
Yeah, but I feel like it would be a good game to play on like a stream because unless you're doing like hardcore raiding or anything, because it's very forgiving on like you can stop and talk and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't get carried.
Get carried.
They make fun of me because I like to loot. Like, I'll just be the person running around looting everything while they do the killing.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, when we used to play COD or even Fortnite, I do a lot more looting than the killing anyway.
I do love looting.
That's the reason why, what was the game mode in COD that I loved so much? We won so many because I was so good at looting, but I was not good at killing. Anyway, whatever it was. But yeah, like we filmed the 200th win and all that. Yeah, it was like, she's a GIB. What's a GIB?
It's Gib. Give me all the loot.
Oh, give me all
Gib. That's me.
And then Allie says got 2 80s and 171, so 177. Okay, I don't know what that means.
I do intend on leveling to max level at some point, but I kind of got back into 7 days and I don't know.
Oh, leveling in World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
2 80s, 171, and okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you do play a lot in WoW, so I mean, I totally understand that. And like, is there like in WoW, and explain to me because I haven't played WoW in like, what was it, a little after September 11th, give or take? I was active duty, played a little bit, and then never played again. What is like the team ups like if you get a bunch of people together and play?
It's pretty much the same structure generally as it used to be. Like you can still do like dungeons with a group of 5, or you can do raids with a group of 10, or you can do even more than 10 if you want to, but
yeah,
I don't know. I raided during Wrath of the Lich King, but after that I didn't because I didn't want to commit to being online at the same time as 20 other people or whatever. But
and I used to make a joke about like I'm not going to pay monthly to play games online, But then again, I pay yearly for the PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch and all that kind of stuff to play online. So isn't it the same
Yeah.
concept? So
As long as you're playing the game, playing the game you're paying monthly for enough, I feel like it's like if I'm playing WoW enough that I don't need to buy other games, then it's worth it. But if I'm not playing it much, it's obviously not worth it.
yeah. Like I used to say that for battle passes and stuff like that. Like I never paid for the battle pass for Fortnite unless I really am playing it. Because like if you're playing 2 or 3 times a night, which is like 18 hours in 1 month, that's not enough to pay for a whole battle pass for that.
Yeah. I miss our Fortnite gaming.
We need to schedule Fortnite. We need to schedule another Mario Party night, and then because the new Mario Party came out, I actually bought it because Allie convinced me to buy it, so I have it there. I just haven't touched
Allie
it yet.
has it too. Okay, yeah, we need to do that.
So
if I can get Hasselhoff, we'd have 4, but if not, 3.
And you can have no, and the new one, I think you can have up to 8 players now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll buy it if we can do it.
And it's a fast. You can like you know how the old game where you like roll the dice and it's like do and I get over there or whatever. Like it's fast. Like when you get there, it's like speed run to the next one because if you had that many players, there's like one match with 10 rounds would go for like 5 hours if you did it like that. So they found a way to add more players, but then also speed it up so you could get all that stuff done. So I thought that was really good. Okay, so I want to keep going with this one. Experience of streaming, like what is your like all time? We talked about cooking, we talked about pole dancing, whatever. Like when you look back at the last 4 years, is there one that really stands out that's like this was my favorite moment, or like certain things that like stand out to what you've done as streaming?
Gosh, it's my favorite moment, but it's also one of my least favorite moments at the same time.
Isn't that the truth for all of it?
Yes, it's the spicy ramen night. It was a subathon. It was like my first real subathon, and I did not really think I would hit all my goals, and I did, which was crazy and awesome, and ended up sleeping on stream, that's fine compared to spicy ramen. Yeah, I think those were the same.
I mean,
no, they can't be the same ones. They can't be the same ones because
the chip was the same as the spicy ramen night. I think it was.
No, the spicy ramen. Yeah. So for those of you who weren't there, I hit my goal to eat the really hot. It's like bulldog ramen, the red pack. And I had to eat the whole thing. And at some point, my stomach said nope, and I mumbled something that apparently sounded like Vajigo. So that's everybody's word they like to say in my stream. It was supposed to be I gotta go, and so I ended stream and I went and threw up, and then
oh no, I do remember that now.
But I knew I still had to finish the bowl because that's what I signed up for. So I had to like take a video or like pictures of me finishing eating it after I got sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good night because I didn't expect to have to do it, but
oh geez,
also bad because obviously I got sick. But
and then if I remember correctly, since then you've tried to eat it again?
Not that.
No.
I think my goal to eat that was only like $50, which was about $450 too short.
Exactly. Now that you said that,
and now like
if you did
if I had to eat that again, yeah, it would be a lot more. I did the chip, which was not as bad as the ramen. Nothing was as bad as the ramen to me. I did the chip, I did the hot nuts, and that might be it.
See, anything, like I can't do stomach stuff. I can't do like anything. I mean, I can do some spicy stuff, whatever, but I'm not going to do anything to eat something on stream. Like I still gotta, from when we did a Skinathon in July, when we debuted the whole studio, I still got to plan a night where I get an MRE, which is not a big deal. I've ate tons of those in my life.
Oh, I used to have a guy in stream who wanted me to eat one of those.
I mean, it's interesting if you've never had one before, but I've had a bunch, so I still got to schedule that out and do one of those.
I'll have to ask you which one's not terrible, or maybe they'd rather see me eat one that is terrible.
Your best bet is just to go into it not even thinking about it, because if you automatically know that oh, this one is bad, then you're just gonna psych yourself up for it. And if you just get one and just like, okay, oh, this is the title of it, you rip it open and you learn how to cook it, you do all that kind of fun stuff just to kind of teach people or kind of like learn yourself. Then or have chat tell you like all that's the best way to do it. Just add lots of Tabasco, yeah, because I mean most of them do come with the little bottle of Tabasco sauce. So if you like hot stuff and you like hot food, I mean just dump the whole fucking bottle in there. I'm not a hot sauce person, but
Need the flavor.
I just that's true because everything's salty as fuck, and it's very very high in like carbs and all that kind of stuff because it's for performance and whatnot.
Have you seen anybody do the nasty sodas? I think if I did another one, I would do that.
A nasty
They're like
soda.
ranch flavored and like bacon flavored soda and like just nasty flavored sodas. That could be fun. I just like to torture myself, apparently.
Yeah, y'all should look this up here. I wanted to bring it up because I don't know if it's still even available or not. It's the Jones's sodas. That's what it's. I suggest eating insect eating. Oh, Jesus.
We were watching someone's stream when me and him were in Discord the other day, and she had insect eating goal up. I was like, nope. I don't even know what it would take for that.
Let's see if I let's see if I can find this or not because I don't even know if it's still available or not. But the only reason why you brought that up and I just happened to think about it. There was one and I'm trying to find it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think it's 6 or 7 bottles or whatever it is. It's the Jones's limited edition Thanksgiving turkey soda. And it's Thanksgiving drinks. Oh, there's 5 of them in there. Each one of them is like one of them's cranberry, which are like, oh, okay. But one of them's like flavored mashed potatoes, one's turkey and gravy. Like it's just like it's a whole Thanksgiving meal in a soda. So yeah, that's what it came to me when you said that.
It would be fun. I don't know. I don't really like even Thanksgiving turkey, so I do eat a little bit, but I don't really like it.
Oh, I can't imagine. Oh, that. Anyway. Oh my God. Now I'm good. We got to still go with this, and we still got to get into some subjects that are a little bit heavy here. Now I'm thinking about gross soda. I mean, that's the point of this conversation anyway. Okay, so before we get into IVF stuff, there's a few questions I wanted to ask to kind of get to know you in the deeper level, not just the surface level. If knowing that you're a streamer, knowing your mom, knowing IVF, knowing husband and all that kind of stuff moving around, if you had to look back at your younger self, what advice would you give them that would hopefully help you get through what you're doing now?
Advice I'd give my younger self. One would be, I guess as far as streaming goes, I would start streaming sooner.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Because, yeah, I can't imagine where I'd be if I would have started sooner. But also, like I said, getting to know more communities that I fit well into would have helped a lot. And as far as not streaming, I would say never let a man tell you what to do. What you can and cannot do.
I almost spent my drink out of that, but that's true.
I guess I would tell me not to do respiratory therapy.
Yeah.
Then I could have had a college degree I liked better. And yeah, I guess that's probably about the big ones.
If you do you think?
I mean, I don't want to say. Most people would say, tell your younger self not to date so and so, or not to do blah 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 blah. And obviously, I've been divorced, so I've made bad choices. But I learned what I wanted and didn't want from all those different people that I dated and didn't end up liking. So
that's usually my follow up on that one. Is that do you
That's
think?
What she said.
Do you think that the information that you would give to your younger self would have changed the entire directory of where you're at today? Because that's usually my follow-up on that one. Because I could give advice to my younger self, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, in this year, wager money on this baseball team or something like that, 'cause you're gonna win a lot, or like invest in Apple or some shit like people say. But it's like, yeah, but I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I'm proud of who I am today. So do you think that the information you could give to your younger self would have changed the outlook of who you are now?
Oh yeah, probably for sure. I mean, it would change my life a lot. I don't know if it would change my outlook on life, but I do think it would have changed the direction of my life, probably.
And then the question is,
I mean, if younger me decided to actually listen, I guess.
that's that was my other thing too. It's like I was pretty thankful of I knew everything back then anyway. So if my older self showed up, I'd be like, yeah, you're dumb. Like, yeah, you old
Right.
now. Like, don't
I
give
didn't
me
listen to my
advice.
mama, so would I listen to myself? I don't know.
What was there was a Ryan Reynolds movie that like the older self
Oh,
met his
Ryan
younger self,
Reynolds.
and like the younger
He's
self was
yummy.
like just basically like, you don't know anything, man. And then toward the end of the movie it was like, oh yeah, I kind of do now, but I mean, like at first it was like, you ain't telling me nothing I don't already know. Oh, I listened to your mom. So and then one actually a couple one I want to do is like we talked about this in the pre-interview or whatever like that. It's like the things that, like, we have a lot of people in chat that know who you are. There's a few people that don't. What are a few things that the few folks that do know you may not know about you, or something that you would share with people that don't know you now to get to know you better?
So a few things I could think of were like really, really early on things, but so I was talking earlier about how I did the belly dancing and I do the pole dancing now, but my dance beginnings started when I was really little and I did ballet. I did ballet dancing as a kid. Oh, that I thought of any other. I feel like I tell everybody on stream everything about me over and over again.
You do, but it's okay. Like that's what people come back for anyway. Because I think the repetitive stories, I've been there for them. So like, I'm not saying anything wrong with them, but like as a streamer, I think there's a story that you tell 4 years ago that you still tell today.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
for
there's
sure.
different people. I'm like, they don't know. So I just have to, these people have to hear it again.
Yep. And the people that are dedicated anyway aren't going to leave because they heard the story 10 or 12 times. So, like,
Yeah. Yep. Habitual's probably heard me tell stories like 100 times.
I would love to hear Habitual answer the question on what story have you heard the most come out of her repetitively. Like, that would be interesting
Oh,
to see.
God. I don't know if I want to know.
And then before we actually like get the education part of it, got an hour? Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. I said that one story, not all the stories. If you said to yourself, okay, tomorrow is my last stream ever, and you're like, I'm never going to stream again, because you have other things going on, job, whatever decided to do, Twitch decided to get stupid, and you like, I'm not going to do this anymore, whatever. What would be one of the things that you would want your legacy to be, and to teach other streamers to know about, not just you, but like, hey, if you're going to continue to do this, this is the advice I'd give you, all that kind of stuff?
I would say maintain, if you do take a break from streaming, still maintain the relationships with the people that are, a big part of your community. Because for me, when I took my break, like the people who still reached out and talked to me, and I was still able to, catch up with them and keep up with them, I feel like that really made me want to come back all the more. So yeah, I guess it would just be to not only strengthen your Twitch friendships, but to have those friends outside of Twitch. I've actually met one of my mods in person since I started streaming, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
He's about 45 minutes away from where we live now, so we went up to his house for like a barbecue type of thing. And he did come to my gender reveal for my baby and my baby shower and everything. So
That's cool.
you can make real life best friends just through streaming, and it's so cool. So yeah, that'd be my advice, to just keep those relationships even if you're not actively streaming.
Mm-hmm. Would what I guess before I go into the other question, before we start anything, what would be your advice for people that have to deal with the bad people, like
Welcome
of streaming?
Crimson
Because
Oh.
_B.
everything, there's always a bunch of people that are, I mean, I'm not going to talk about like stalkers or things like that. I'm going to talk about like people that are consistently never relentless, are always relentless, but like never stop. Like, how do you deal with them folks?
Honestly, I've only had the one,
Yeah, right, fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
incident. Yeah, so I feel like that's such an oddball incident that maybe it happens to a lot of people, but I don't know. Stick habitual on them.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
usually, yeah, I feel like people usually either get banned and they're gone, or, I mean, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Or
It's the SD guy.
I did
like that.
have a mod that I didn't click so well with, and we ended up, like, I unmodded him, and then he kept asking for mod back, and I just kind of severed that tie. I don't think he comes back anymore because
Yeah.
we didn't jive well.
I think those are the moments that people need to understand too, because I mean, like, it's okay to say no to people, and it's okay to not, like, when you use the word jive, not jive with the people that are consistently in your community. Like, yeah, we've had issues before on certain, like, you know, the same one that most everybody in the community knows. But for those that don't know, there are people out there that are like shitbags, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, they're shitbags, and like, to handle them, like, sometimes ignoring them doesn't do it enough. Isn't, like, banning them from Discord or from your stream isn't enough. So, like, just I think between you and I think we've dealt with this shit, is like, sometimes you just gotta shut it off, and like, you hope that eventually it fades away and just be done, and hope that you can block emails and block everything else. Like, I'm glad this person doesn't know my address or my phone number, because I mean, it's even worse if it does that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a crazy thing to deal with, but
yeah,
you just gotta handle each situation. And then it's also hard to deal with when two people in your community, like, you get along with both people, but they don't get along well with each other. I've had that happen too, where one's complaining to me about them, and then the other one's complaining to me about the other, and I'm like, I don't want to pick sides. I don't want to
I mean,
parent these
like
people.
one person has advice on another, or like thinks of another person a certain way, and you're kind of like, well, we have to get along, because if you're going to be part of this community, this is what this is, and getting that mediated is the hardest part, I
I
think.
tell them just to ignore each other, but
Yeah, that's not it.
Oh,
That's
Aria,
not
I'm
easy.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Welcome to
Okay,
Come on, honey.
so we've done all the streaming stuff. We've done how you got there. We've done, like, the life behind. I want to get in the education part of it. But before we get into, like, the kind of, like, the science part of it, or like all that kind of information, let's start with, like, meeting the right person. Like, how did you and Big D meet, and then how did you guys get together, and how did you know that he was the right one for you? Because obviously with the divorce and all that stuff, you know, you kind of go through that. But I mean, you can kind of go through the whole story if you really wanted to.
So we met through Tinder.
No, that's not wrong.
Modern dating story.
No, you're good.
Yeah, we kind of just met up at we went to Applebee's, and then we went and saw Thor. Which is
sounds like a
kinda
good
weird
date.
for me,
That's a
'cause I
first.
don't-
That's a good
I don't
first date.
usually like superhero type movies, but yeah, I remember that's what we saw. And yeah, we meshed well and kind of just went from there, kept seeing each other. Then with me at the place I was renting, and yeah, we actually moved to California before we got married. We were engaged, but moved there, we flew down and got married in Puerto Rico.
Sorry, that's the guy just playing the Avengers hype music in the background.
That's so appropriate.
Oh,
That's good timing. And how did I know he was the one? I like to say that it's when he bought my cat a Christmas present because I thought that was thoughtful and something nobody else has ever done.
Oh, that's cute. Do you remember what he
I'm a
bought?
crazy cat. Like my cat is like my. It's a little scratching post, and she actually still has it. It's like out in the hallway.
That's cute.
I think it's
Welcome, a
like
Stilo
broken on the
underscore
bottom a little
villain.
bit, but
Hey, speaking of spider,
there he is.
Hi, by the way. What would you say? So, you guys worked together for how many years till you all decided that the conversation of let's start expanding the family? Like, how did that
I think
conversation
we started
start?
trying for a baby. Well, not like really hardcore trying, but we started not trying like before we even got married, I think. And then I was like, when we got engaged, I was like, I don't want to be pregnant at my wedding, so we stopped trying for like a year.
Thanks, SCI
and
guy,
then
for
started again.
giving that sub to Spider, by the way. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Look, a mod doesn't have ads now. Wow, I don't know what to do with that. But I appreciate it.
Don't have. Oh, okay.
Yeah, now because the sub. Yeah.
I
So
gotcha.
okay, so together for so long, and then decided to have kids. Like, how long did you try until you figured out that it was you needed to do
I
a
would say
different
we
option?
tried all together like 4 years, 3 or 4 years. We tried with no luck. And that wasn't just trying normally. There's like a medicine you can take that's supposed to help. So I did that. There's just like timers you can take to time everything out right. We did all the different like beginner steps. I ended up having to get surgery before we did the IVF to remove polyps in the uterus. So that was a big cost. It was like $6,000 and some dollars. So we had to pay that down before we could even think about the cost
rest
of
of
the IVF.
Yeah.
But they said just having the surgery might have made it, might have made enough difference to make it happen, but it didn't. We gave it like another year after I got that done, and it didn't help. So but I had to have it done anyways because he wouldn't do the IVF without having it done first.
Right. It's basically like, and I hate to say it like this because this is not the proper way of saying it. It's almost like cleaning out the system before you decided to do something else.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get that. No, I totally understand that one. So like when, I guess, so you're going from trying to, then the meds, and then realizing that, there has to be another path. Like, obviously there's multiple paths out there. How did IVF come up, and then how did you decide that was the right path to do?
So basically just our doctor talked to us. You either, at that point, after you've tried all the simpler things, you're left with either IVF, which is more involved, or you can go IUI, which I think is how STI guy ended up with some of his spawn.
Yeah.
So that's like your conventional, like, not turkey baster, but turkey baster up there type of thing. And yeah, the IVF is more
Injections.
everything's done in a lab.
Yeah.
So he told us the chance of the IUI working was so much lower than the IVF, and it was still fairly expensive. So we decided just to skip that and move to what had a way higher chance of working.
Yeah. Like, how does she was scared to try the same? I mean, I don't think any type of like injections or any type of like, let's get science involved. I mean, it's kind of scary in itself. Like medication, all that kind of stuff.
It was
like,
all scary.
Yeah. She got 3 in the 3 in the cards. That's
well, we had male factor infertility and female, so me and him both had small issues. So the IUI wasn't gonna have as good of a chance for it to work as probably it did for you. Not you, but for STI guy.
For those that don't know what IVF the process is, could you like walk through like, okay, now the doc like sits down and says, okay, this is our subject now. What is our next steps? I mean, is it like you do a bunch of things prior? Because I mean, and maybe this is different for you. Maybe it's different for other people. I mean, obviously every process is different, but like for those that don't know, I'm going to be honest with you. I try to do a lot of research on the topic that we're talking about, so we know, so I know what it is. Like you could say, okay, we're talking about that. I'm like, I'm fucking no idea. I'm like, I'm not a science guy. I'm going to learn about it. But like, there's like a lot of things that the docs kind of require or kind of like suggest to do before they start doing injections and pulling and all that kind of stuff. So is there anything that they suggested that you have to do prior to them starting to the process?
So you start out on just a bunch of pills and a bunch of shots, and that's to get your hormones where they want them and to get your body to make a ton of eggs. I think you only release like a few eggs normally, but these shots and medications make you release like a whole bunch of eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Also made me super sick. So that's when the beginning of my nauseas that did not stop.
Yeah.
The whole pregnancy pretty much started. So you do all that, and then they do what's called egg retrieval surgery, where they go in your uterus and they get all those eggs you made and take them out, make the embryos. So that's kind of your first step. And then after that, I got, I forget what the medical term for it's called, but basically my ovaries were like so overstimulated. I think it might just be the ovarian hyperstimulation or something, but they were so overworked that they were like huge and swollen, and they said it was a bad environment to actually start doing the like putting stuff back in part. So I went to California to do this because we already had everything set up there.
Yeah.
So I just flew back up there to do this, and I was just going to stay there, do it all, come back. But then that happened, so I had to do the egg retrieval surgery, go back home, fly back over here. And then when they told me I was ready to come back to stuff back inside and hope it works, I had to go back to California again. So it was a whole big thing, and I felt so bad for the lady I stayed with. She is a saint. She was awesome. She was actually a girl I met at pole class's mom that lived out there, so I stayed with her for the whole thing, and I was like sick the whole time. I was like, this woman probably can't wait for me to leave. But anyway,
Welcome, Arrow Garfield.
so then I flew back when they said that, hey, Garfield.
Yeah, I heard that.
Is that what I heard?
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Yeah, I flew back when he said it was ready to put stuff back in. So they don't actually put you out for that part. So I was really scared.
I can imagine.
I thought it was gonna hurt like crazy, but it wasn't too bad. Yeah, so then they make the baby in like a little, I don't want to say a test tube, but petri dish. I don't know. They take all of the eggs they got and they fertilize them, and only some of them will live, and then they freeze them, and at that point really only a few will live.
Right.
I think we got 7, so we have 6 left if we want to have 6 more babies, which we do not.
Wow. Yeah. Like, no, of course. Nah, I'd do 1. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess once they put it in, it's not guaranteed to work. So, but we got lucky and it worked on the first try. I think we had about an 80 with our age and everything. It came out to like an 80% chance. So there was still.
Yeah.
And it depends on like the facility, because each facility has different success ratios because they all do different things. But that one had a good success ratio, so I was feeling good about even having to go back out there to do it.
So I would probably, like, the way I'm kind of understanding this is like before you even start the process, try to get as much of the details of the facility as well, because getting the information of the facility can tell you if the money that you're going to invest in this is going to be worth it. Because I mean, I'm guessing that there's probably facilities out there that your percentage rate is so low that you're taking a guess on if it's even going to work. But I mean, with an 80% chance, or facility wise being so high, that's worth flying back and forth for. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, there's also like you can pick different ways you want to do it. Like some women will do it without any of the shots or hormone medicines or anything, and they call it like a natural cycle. But I really, really wanted it to work, so I did all the shots and I have a picture of half of my shots. I didn't bring the ones back from California, but I would love to have a picture of all the ones I did because there was so many.
Oh wow.
That is by far the worst part of the whole thing is the shots.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to give them to myself because he's not here all the time. And eventually he's like, "You want me to do that for you?" I'm like, "No, I know how to do it now." So I'm just
Can't
gonna
imagine. Like there's like I want your help with a lot of things, but giving me shots is probably not one of them.
At first you do though, because it's hard to give yourself a shot. Like,
oh yeah.
you really got to talk yourself into stabbing yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I have an issue where
Welcome,
like
Fox
we were
James
gonna
11.
start shots and they taught me how to do it and we did one of them and then the insurance was like, oh, we're not going to approve that, so we had to go a different route. But like just being in the doctor's office and it's like, oh, you're gonna take this, and was yours the one where you actually like insert and actually like put everything in, or was it like an automatic one?
For the egg retrieval, I had one of the button push kind, and then I also had a manual one I had to do every day. And then for after the embryo is put back in you, you have to do these shots in the butt like twice a day, which are the manual old-fashioned,
I don't
and I
think
forget which one it was, but one of them is so bad.
Ugh. Like just because the needle's so long, or because it just like
No, just the stuff in the needle. She's like, "This one's gonna burn. It's normal." It burned.
Yeah. I mean, the one that I had was just a button one, and I still was like scared shitless of that one. Like, you put it close and then hit the button, and just all of a sudden, what the fuck was that?
If they were all like that, I'd have been good. Like that thing was the easy one.
Yeah, like once you get used to that one's easy. But like having to like do the needles and
Yeah, it was still hard at first. Yeah.
So, for those that our whole point of these conversations is to learn something, and for some, like even if it's one person watching this and you learn something great, I have multiple questions to kind of learn. We heard the process. Like, what was like the biggest questions you had, and like when you went in there to sit down, like, or like uncertainties of the process of like, we suggest you do this, and you're like, yeah, we really want a kid, but these are the questions I have. Not just money wise, because obviously it's expensive sometimes, but like, how does going forward with that? I mean, what questions did you have that you thought maybe the people that are watching this may want to know, I guess?
Well, yeah, the money thing was definitely my first, like my first worry when I went in there. I ask him, I think just mostly like questions about knowing what our issues were, like what our chances would be. I had done a lot of research before I started, so I already kind of knew what I was getting myself into. I just needed, I guess, to hear from them, like specifically how they like to do it, because like I said, different places do different protocols, and but yeah, I don't have any regrets. I had really good luck and got lucky on my first try, but I don't know, I had one more try in me, and if I hadn't got it on my second try, I don't know that I would have tried again, because it can be really rough. Like if your body responds like mine did and got really nauseous and sick and got swollen ovaries and all that stuff, doing all those shots and thinking about it not working just makes me sick, and I know it happens to people every day.
Yeah, and that was like kind of
so
like
I would say if you've
go ahead.
tried everything and are thinking about giving it a try, definitely do it.
Like
But
that's
be
probably
prepared,
my
because it's a lot.
next question, because knowing that it's a lot, and knowing that I mean obviously this channel is all about like mental health, and we're starting a mental health podcast and stuff like that. Like I guess the question I would have is like how did you, when the first one didn't take, how did you deal with the emotions, and how did you decide to do it again for the second to last time? Like you said, if you do this second time it doesn't take, you're not going to do it again. Like how did you decide that let's do this again? Like let's do this a second time if it didn't do the first time. Like how did
Well,
you
my
both
first
feel about
time did work, but if it didn't work, I think I could have only tried one more time.
Oh, okay.
Just yeah. Yeah, we got lucky and it worked.
But like,
But I can't imagine the kind of sickness and just sadness I would have felt if it didn't work. Because after they put it in, you have to wait like several weeks to even know if it worked, and it's the longest wait of your life. I swear.
And then is that like normal pregnancy test, or does that go back and actually like?
They want you to get a blood test, but I was super impatient, and I think I took a regular pregnancy test like 2 days ahead of time because all the girls in like the groups I was in online were like, I couldn't wait. I tested early. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. And one night he was at work, and I was like, if I found out tonight, I could surprise him when he got home. And I was like, I'll just take it. And if it's negative, then maybe it was too early. And I was like, just gonna do it. And then it was positive, and then I freaked out, and I think I texted my sister first, and yeah, it was a really cool moment.
So then,
but it could also be really depressing for people if it doesn't work.
You made a comment that we didn't even cover yet, but like, how did you, when you started to do it, how did you find the groups about? Like, did you, like, when you Google search, did you find groups or Discords or like Reddit pages or whatever that would, like, a group of people that had the experience that you guys could talk to? How did you find that group and the supportive group that had that experience?
I think I was in one on Facebook, and then also there's an app you can get that it tracks. It's the one that tells you like your baby's the size of an apple, your baby's the size of a pineapple, like all that stupid stuff. It has like forums on there that they talk about all kinds of different stuff. That I was able to learn a lot off of.
Like, if you don't find those groups, then how did I mean, I'm live in your Discord, so take me out of this, all this stuff, but like, how did the community of the streaming community like help with the support of that? Like, was that something that was a part of that, or is that something that you kind of talked about you were doing, but you kind of left some details out, or did you just literally tell everybody what was going on, and so they could kind of support you and be there?
I think I told pretty much everybody what was going on, but this goes back to what I said about keeping in contact. Like the people that, even though I wasn't streaming as much, that still were talking to me, and I was able to kind of fill them in on what was going on. It meant a lot, and I really appreciated, people wanting to maintain our friendship, even though I wasn't getting on stream as much. And I think I did do a few I tried to do a few streams from that lady's house in California when I was going through the process,
like chatting a little
but
bit,
I was like yeah, it was hard. And then I started getting sick, so that's when the nausea, just the entire pregnancy, the entire fertility, and then after. And actually within the last week, I've started getting it again. I was so scared I was pregnant again. I was like, what is wrong with me? But now I don't know why. I'm not pregnant, but now I don't know why I'm getting nauseous again. So that's another thing I have to figure out. But.
I mean, that could be a lot of like, because how long were you doing the shots, and how long were you doing all the prep work and all that kind of stuff before you stopped doing it?
Oh my. It's been so long.
Like, was it a couple years?
Like the IVF process itself, I would say from the start of the fertility treatments to when I just recently started streaming again was a year and a half, something like that, maybe.
So a year and a half
really
total. So that was, but then did you have to do the shots the whole time you were pregnant, or you got to a point where
you get to a certain point you can stop,
like second
but you do have to do
or something
it
like
for
that?
a while.
Like, do you remember?
Yeah, it's like, I forget, but I know it's for longer than I thought it was.
You thought it was, yeah. So like, I guess the biggest advice I would think that, I mean, maybe there's more to it than that, but like, patience is probably the virtue of getting okay with what's going on, because it does take a minute. And when I say a minute, I mean obviously a year. So it was about probably 12 or maybe 8 months until you found out you were pregnant, and then you had another about 4, give or take 3 to 4, that you were doing the treatments while you were pregnant, and then you were able to stop and then have the kid, and everything else was fine, right?
Yeah, it is. It takes a lot of patience.
Welcome,
because
Dark Lord Kane.
there's just steps you have through, and each one can last like longer than you think.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who doesn't have the issues I had, you can go in and get your eggs retrieved, get something put back in there, and there you go, and it works maybe, but it wasn't the case for me. But I'm just glad that it worked and that he's healthy. And that's another thing that I didn't anticipate, is because he was conceived through IVF, there was a lot of extra stuff I had to do during my pregnancy. Like they wanted ultrasounds. Towards the end, they wanted an ultrasound like every week.
Jeez.
Just to make sure that he was. And I think that was a bit excessive because, yeah, but I also have a thyroid condition, so that kind of added to it. But,
Yeah. I think,
but yeah.
if I remember correctly with ours, I think it was like the normal time frame. And then once that they found out that there was twins, I think we were there every week for 3 months. So we were in and out every single week for 3 months. So I think it's just making sure that, the high, like for yours, it would be like the science of it. So we're going to make sure that everything's good. And then the other one for us, it was the, like, since we were older age and like high, I drawn a blank on the term, but they're like, yeah, we need to, now that you're carrying twins at that age, and you need to do that. I'm like, we're only 36. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, we're not that old.
Yeah, I was 1 year short of being, I think it's called like advanced maternal age.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Like if I have another kid, I'm going to be that.
Yeah. What they said was after we had the twins, it's like, if you want to have kids again, now that you have twins, your chances of being in that category, the chances of you having twins again. And I'm just like, nope. Like I will not be outnumbered in my own damn house. Like, no freaking way.
Yeah. I thought maybe I wanted twins just to get it over with, but now I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't.
I mean, I get it. Like they play with each other, but it's still when I'm the only one home and balancing two kids, I'm outnumbered and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Yeah. 2 boys, then you get 2 girls. No, fuck no. Yeah. We're not doing that. No. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I mean, it was shortly after. So, are you worried at all now that you've had a kid, that you could have one naturally? Or do you think that because you couldn't have one naturally earlier, that makes a difference now?
I am worried because I don't know that I want to go through pregnancy again. But you hear so many stories of people saying that it does happen. Like they go through all the IVF stuff and then their body like learns how to be pregnant and they can do it naturally. So I don't know. I don't know how I would feel if it happened because it's really hard to do with him right now. I don't know. Every stage I go through with him is hard, I feel like.
It doesn't.
But I did really want a girl, so I don't know.
It does not get easier. Let's put it that way. And I tell everybody that one. That's why they label every year as like terrible 2s, obnoxious 3s, and like whatever. Like every year is some type of negative word before that. So I totally get that. I mean, the moments are great. The positive moments do outweigh the negative after a certain point. And that's what you got to remember is like, man, this is like awesome. And then when they're like sleeping in your arms and like you're exhausted, but you just look down, you're like, yeah, like I don't care what I just went through yesterday because yesterday sucked, but today is awesome. So yesterday doesn't matter anymore. So that's what I always remember for.
Yeah, you never regret your kid, I feel like. But
lie
also...
to her. Yeah, I'm not lying, but I mean, it does sound like a lie. I'll give you that.
I also really want to get my life back. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm finally getting pieces of it back a little at a time, and to start all over would just can't imagine.
Yeah.
I was lucky to not gain a lot of weight while I was pregnant, and I've lost it all plus like double.
Yeah.
So I also feel really good physically, and I'm like, if I'm pregnant, that's just gonna be ruined again.
I guess the only few other questions I have, if anybody has questions, I mean, that's a free for all, by the way. I'm trying to keep an eye on chat too. If you do have questions, feel free to throw them in there. We're going to get into the community questions. I do have a few, but then you can ask questions in the chat and we'll just go ahead and do that. For YouTube wise, for everybody that doesn't know, what we'll do is we'll do a question and kind of do whatever. I have a lightning round I have a little fun with at the end. Then we'll cut the recording for YouTube, and then we'll just sit back and just kind of like enjoy just talking bullshit and, or whatever, all that kind of stuff. And Split Cells here, what's going on? How you doing, by the way? Good to see you.
Hey.
So like I guess the only few questions I have left in the IVF stuff, and chat doesn't have any. Did you find that the support from family, not knowing what you're going through, actually helped, or was there something that you would educate your family or other people that would be supporting other people that are going through IVF, how to support them differently than how you were supported, or what worked for you going through the process?
I feel like everybody in my family was generally pretty understanding. My dad can be a little naive sometimes, but he's,
Aren't we all?
I don't know. He cares in his own way. But yeah, sometimes he'll message me and he'll be like, talking to me about like the Penguins game or whatever. And I'll be like, I won't get to see it all because I have to go to bed. He'll be like, it's 8:30. I'm like, when you have a kid that wakes up 5 times a night, you go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah, no shit.
But yeah, I feel like I don't think there's anything I would change about how people supported me during. I'm kind of like, I would say early on, if I had more help giving myself the shots, that would have been great. But then also, I had to learn to do them myself, so that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that anything sticks out to me as, I mean, just understand that that person might not feel good because they have a million different pills to take and shots to take and might be nauseous and emotionally worrying constantly.
Yeah.
Might just not be themselves.
What was the best advice, since you were part of the groups that had the experience? What was one of the best advice that they gave you going through it all? And don't say patience. We talked about patience already, because I'm sure that's the biggest one, I'm sure. I know some of these questions weren't on mine, but
Best advice I got. I feel like it was just general, not even like specific IVF advice, but just general.
Welcome, Mrs. Sparkles.
You can get through this and it's gonna all be worth it when you hold, I obviously didn't know it was a boy, but when you hold him, when you hold her,
yeah.
that type of thing. I didn't really know anybody personally that close that had gone through it, so I didn't have like a close personal contact to talk to about it.
Right. Mainly just like, all right, I'm going to go through this. I found a group that has the experience, and then time to like tap into that resource. And I'm sure that like even now, do you see like new people that are going through the same thing you went through in that same group, and now you're given that, now you're the person that has to give the advice now?
I'm not in the groups anymore, but I do see that, like, I watch a lot of TikToks sometimes, and I do see TikToks of women who are just starting or thinking about it, and it just seems like so long ago, like so much has happened since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all pretty much from the start of that until now has been the hardest time of my life. But I told hubby the other day, I was like, I feel like sometimes I feel like really run down and like burnt out and miserable, but also I'm feeling like a happiness that I never felt in my life before.
Oh yeah.
That I feel like comes from having a child. So it's just all different. It's hard to adjust, and it's hard to go through all the extra shit you have to do on top of normal pregnancy stuff. And
yeah, I can. Yeah,
I'm glad it's over.
I could feel the frustration coming from you, even if you're not explaining like every single detail, and it's okay because I mean, like, sometimes the extra details are for those that are going through it at the time, not just those that are like maybe thinking about doing it. Like, hey, like, here's the basics, here's what they do, here's the shots, here's whatever. And like when I was doing the research, and I said this before we even started, like I think it started, like, this process started in the 80s, and like 40 years they've produced like 1 million kids or more around the world. I'm just like, holy crap. Like, obviously it works. And then if it's 1 million kids that they've produced with IVF, how many failures did they go through? And how many I'm not going to take that joke. And then how many failures was there? So I mean, like, obviously they figured it out, so that's pretty good. So that's pretty awesome. So we're going to move into the community questions, unless anybody has any like questions over IVF, because like I said, this is the point of us getting the education and then trying to teach people how to do things, the process, and not to be scared of it, but yet understanding that there are things to worry about during it, I guess. So community questions, I have a few. Thank you so much for the epic, by the way. So if you hear extra sound effects, that's because of that. So here's a couple of them. Some of them are kind of funny. Yeah, you can add a few, Spider. I'm okay with that. You can add a few, not like to the point, because these are going to be on YouTube as well. Was there any fear for someone who's never had a kid before, or process of getting your body back to where you want it to be, from before or after? Because there's a lot of moms that have that trouble.
Yeah, a very huge amount for me, because my mom gained 60 pounds with me and my sister.
Yeah.
So I thought I was already like genetically dispositioned to gonna gain a ton of weight. I was kind of a weird case. I was so sick that I didn't gain much weight, and that might not happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen for other people, but
yeah,
the one perk to that was I gained like 23 pounds, which is pretty low for pregnancy.
Yeah.
Actually losing weight at the end because I was so sick. But I was really afraid of it. I pretty much just wrote my body off. I was like, it's going to be ruined. It's going to be just horrible. I'll never get it back. And I have been very pleased and surprised with my ability to. And I'm still not able to, other than pole, I don't really do much on the working out front.
Yeah. But pole dancing, I mean, that does take a lot of work. So I don't want to take care of it.
If I could do like weight training though, that would make all the difference in class, but I'll get there.
Yeah. If obviously genetically it worked out for you, is there any advice that you would give to somebody that, maybe after that, how to balance that time to get back to feeling better about that situation?
As far as physically, I'm not sure, but mentally, I was actually just thinking this the other day, how important it is to find a way to make time for the hobbies you had before your kid, because they really do make all the difference in like your mood. Like the other night I was feeling really sick, so I ended up just going to bed as soon as the baby went to bed, and then next thing you know, you're waking up and you're taking care of the baby again, and it's just like an endless cycle.
Yeah.
So making time for me, it's video games and pole. Those are my two things. And since I've been forcing them back into my life, I feel a lot better, just mentally. And physically, man, I don't know about C-section births, but a normal like vaginal delivery birth, it was worse than I thought it would be. Granted, I had a lot of like tearing. But it was, I had people tell me they were right back up, days later, and that wasn't the case for me. So everybody's different. It's hard to know what to expect, so just probably don't expect anything in particular.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody's different. Everybody, does all that kind of stuff. I like mine had to come C-section because it was high blood pressure, and they came 8 weeks earlier. So it was scary at the time, but I mean, obviously, life finds a way. Yes, I did just quote Jurassic Park, by the way. But yes, it just finds a way. Again, if
I
chat,
would
if you have
also
questions.
say, um, do research on where you want to deliver really well because I thought that I was going to deliver at our local hospital, but they couldn't get me in time. I had an induction. So they sent me to the next closest hospital.
Yeah.
And looking back, I was not entirely satisfied with my experience there. I feel that my doctor didn't believe. Like, there was a point that really made me mad because I told her I was about to pass out. I was like, they had turned my epidural down. I felt like I was going to faint. And she's like, no, you're not. You're not going to pass out. And that made me so mad because I'm like, I'm telling you, like, how do you know?
Yeah.
And like, she would tell me to stop crying. I'm like, I can't help it. It
Imagine
hurts.
the doctor going, stop crying.
And yeah. And then like one night I sent the baby to the nursery and they gave me a hard time about, you shouldn't give it formula. You know, you'll never go back
Welcome,
to the
Mrs. Sparkles.
breastfeeding or blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, Mrs. Sparkles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's this new like motion for hospitals to be pro baby. Like certain ones are pro baby hospitals, or it's like a program where they really want to push the baby's needs way ahead of the mother's needs. And the mother's needs are really important too, because if you're not feeling good, how are you going to take care of your new child? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I knew that hospital was in that program, but I still probably would have had no choice because nowhere else could take me, and my baby was huge and needed to come out.
Yeah. I mean, and to spin off that before we get to the other question in chat, I think that's a good idea. I think that's the best idea because, I mean, there's people that want like water births. There's people that want a specific birthing plan is what they call it. And I feel like, and then the doctor of yours has to be, and I wouldn't say licensed, but it has to be like welcomed at that hospital to do your thing. And our doctor for the twins, we did everything at the same hospital, and it was like, you didn't have a choice. It was like, rushed into it. But like, if you weren't going to do that, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sorry, you don't want to get me in, but the doctor that I've been talking to this whole time isn't going to do this. No, you're going to, I'll walk into the freaking emergency room and then call the doctor to go in there. Like, you have choices, but they try to deter you. And yeah, that sucks that you had to go through all that. Need to get her.
The one doctor I saw told me to just walk in, but the other one was like, they still won't take you because you're a few days early, blah, 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 blah. So.
I mean, like, too fucking bad. Sparkles did ask.
I didn't know what to do.
Did you have any fears of pregnancy and childbirth? And if so, how did you get through it?
I had a lot of fears. Oh my gosh. I was terrified of labor. I mean, all you ever hear about is how it's the worst pain of your life, and that's not a lie. I basically just got through it because you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Definitely the epidural, if they'll let you get it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But they turned mine down at the end because they said I wasn't pushing hard enough or something. So, yeah, I just tried to think of, what you're going to end up with and not the sucky part that it takes to get to that point. I don't know that I was afraid of pregnancy. Pregnancy was worse than what I had thought in my head for me, but I have so many people tell me that they loved it. So,
I mean, it all depends on the person for sure. Spider says, so do you think a C-section would have been easier?
Oh, I was labor and they said, do you want to have a C-section? I said, yes, do it.
Yeah.
I was so over it. I would have agreed to anything at that point. I clocked out. Like, I was not in my body anymore.
I would say Spider
if I knew now what it was like, I would have got it. Yeah, if they offered it, I would have got it.
Yeah, I would say Spider for someone. I mean, I didn't go through C-section. For people that for someone who knows what the C-section consisted of, usually natural birth, your body recovers faster, and the C-section with the scarring and all that kind of stuff going in that way. Jessie, my wife, basically said it took her almost a whole year to feel comfortable wearing a belt again because it just rubbed the wrong way or it didn't feel right and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So the recovery is, and then like the timing on that could be different. Obviously everybody's different, but like, you know, it depends on where you wear your jeans, where the cut is, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it makes a difference. Yeah, you, after having a kid, naturally you may or may not want to be intimate for a long time, because that just you know, whatever. But some people are,
It's terrifying.
and I know some people that have 2 kids in 1 year. I mean, it just happens. So, I mean, it is what it is. Allie's like, that's why I decided I didn't want kids, because I bet I would die during birth. I mean, I don't think it would die, but I mean, there is a percentage that does, but yeah, kind of that way for sure.
It does feel like I mean, that's what I imagine dying feels like, but I don't know.
Imagine. I mean, I just want to go peacefully, so I don't know what dying feels like. I just want to just go. Like,
That's it.
if that's the case.
I feel like I had my hopes up because so many women were like, I had the epidural, I didn't feel anything but pressure, blah blah blah. So I don't know. I just feel like I just had bad experience all around. So I don't want people to be put off from it because of my experience.
Yeah. I mean, would you do it all over again, knowing the experience you had? Like,
Yes, once.
Yeah, I would go through it again because I love my kid, but then I don't want to.
Yes.
If I do it again and I get pregnant again, we're definitely going to have a different birthing plan for sure. I mean,
Yes,
yeah.
I would do it all again if I knew I got to have him at the end. But do
Yeah.
I want to do it all again for another one is the war inside my head.
Yeah. At what point do you decide, okay, I'm not going to do this again? And then what precautions do you do to make sure that doesn't happen? And before you answer
I
that,
don't know at what point I would be. Go ahead.
like before you give that answer, I just know like once we had 2, it was like 3 weeks after we had our kids, I was already getting clipped. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. I was like, okay, clip it, man. I just don't care. Like it sucked for a couple days, but at least I know now. At least I know now.
Yeah.
I don't know if Big D would want to go
I
through
don't know
that.
at what point I would.
Yeah.
In my opinion, a man getting snipped is the least he can do after what the woman has been through. Like
I mean,
literally the least you can do.
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But
That's only a couple days. That's
Like,
only a
that's
couple
like-
days. Yeah. If you do your stuff to prevent that, first off, that's not reversible usually. And second, I mean, I can't imagine. I haven't talked to anybody that ever had that done and liked it. Like the outcome, great. I'm not gonna have kids again, but the procedure and all that kind of stuff, I've never met anybody that liked it. Like,
yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
And I don't know. I have this issue in my head every day of at what point do I stop thinking about it and just we do that because
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much older and have kids, you know?
Yeah. Sparkles, was IVF always something you were going to be willing to go through? Oh, that's a good point. I'm like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I never once thought that I wouldn't at least try it. I early on, I was like, I'll just try it as many times till it works. But definitely doing it changed my mindset on that. Doing it and realizing what it takes.
yeah. And then I guess before I have like 3 other community questions in here. But like, and then anybody else that has them in chat, I'll keep asking them, and then we'll get to the lightning round, and we'll cut YouTube channel. But so storage wise, like, do you have to pay for that to store the rest of them? And then when do you decide
Yes.
that's not going to be that way?
That's another
Yeah.
thing that I think about a lot. But yes, it's $600 a year to store them.
Oh, 600 is not terrible.
I was just talking to him the
Yeah.
other day. I was like, they haven't sent us the bill in like a year, so it's been over a year. So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
If they're out there somewhere, if they're not out there somewhere, I mean, I hope they are, but yeah, I don't know. We really aren't sure about what we're gonna do about that.
I mean, I
cut
guess
the tubes after
600 a
the
year, that's
umbilical.
not terrible. I was worried it was going to be like in the thousands or something like that. Like, but I mean, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the question is, and then this is for the religious folks out there, like, how do you like let go? Like, how do you decide that, all right, I'm not going to pay that anymore, and then just be done with it? Like, I'm guessing I don't know the process of them saying, okay, you're not going to do this. They're just going to dispose of it or dispose of them. I don't know how they do that, but like to know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not religious, so
I'm
for
not
me,
really.
it's not really, but it is a weird thought. I was thinking the other day, like if we had picked a different embryo, we'd have a totally different kid than we have right now. Like it's a weird thought to think of that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can donate them if you're comfortable doing that, but I would not be.
I'm not. I would not be a fan of that either.
I mean, I got a picture of Aiden when he was an embryo, and it's just a little tiny glob. I don't know. I don't feel like it would affect me too hard.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm not going to use them all. Like I'm not going to have 6 more kids. Like
no.
And I don't think that I would want other people having my kid. I don't know.
Well, and like,
but there is that option.
What's the science behind it? Because I've heard that, like, depending on the people, they could try or they could work on, like, I've seen like reports where, oh, I want a blue-eyed kid or something like that. There's actual science out there that can help with that. If they said the science was out there that says we can guarantee you a girl, how would you feel about that then?
Yep, you can. We chose not to have ours tested for gender, but you definitely can. We just picked our best one. They'll tell you, like, they grade them, and the best grade is its best chance of survival. So we just picked that one. Whether it was boy or girl, we didn't care.
So and I guess my follow-up would be, if they tested them for gender and you knew all of them were boys, would that change?
I would not do it again.
That would change your outlook on paying $600 a year to hold off on a decision.
Yes, that's a good point. Could get them tested and see if they're all boys.
I mean, I'm just saying, like if
Yeah.
if you're never gonna do it, if you know it's a boy, then you're like, okay, well then if all of them are boys now, then never mind. Like I don't care.
True.
True. The last few community questions I've seen Allie say and SDI saying a few things, but there's a question: could gender be found now, like later? I think. I mean, like I said,
they can still do it once they're frozen.
Yeah. There's genetic.
They just thaw it, test it, and freeze it.
I don't know how that works. Like, I don't. I mean, you don't do that with like meat or chicken. You don't freeze it and freeze it back up and hope that's good.
True.
But like, I don't know how they. And there's gotta be at some point they can do that and not have it turn around. But, what advice would you give to the hubbies out there to do support? What did he do that was good, and what do I know this is a hard one to say, but like, what did he do that maybe you wish he would have done differently to support you during the process?
He was a little bit thinking I was capable of things that I was really struggling with. Like, I remember us going on a walk and I was really having a hard time going up a really steep hill. And it's just hard to make someone else understand the feelings. And just the fact that like I felt bad because he went deer hunting and got a deer and had the meat. And for me, like, meat was a no. Like, it really made me sick to even smell or like look at it or think about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat it for months. And I was like, you're going to have to cook this 'cause
Yeah.
I can't. Like,
I don't think
just
Jessie
can't.
could handle ground beef. I think the whole time, like, she couldn't. Like,
It was even I love chicken and I couldn't do chicken. I couldn't do any meat.
yeah,
I never got food cravings. I feel like that's way over I don't know, talked about, because I didn't get any food cravings really.
yeah. I think that was one of my other questions that I personally had, but I don't think Jessie did either. I think the food cravings and like you get to the people who are like, yeah, I had this thing about like pickles and chips, and was like, or like pickles and peanut butter or something like weird. I was like, I don't know, whatever. Like, to each their own, I guess. Like, whatever.
CBCGWUN.
Yeah.
I guess, and as the guy says, can I get a little Nikki? Like, I think that's TOS if we.
As long as you keep it, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's TOS if we did a subathon for an embryo. Like, I don't think you can do that.
Oh God. This is Sparkles. Yeah, we don't know if or when. There's no decision been made on that.
Yeah. I guess you said good things. Is there anything that like stood out that like maybe what he did, but I mean like would have like helped a little bit more? Would it like? And I joke around about this is like when I ask this to other folks, it's like, man, I wish I'd had my feet rubbed more or something like randomly. Like, was there something like that maybe like stood out? It was like, man, if I would have got this, it would have made like the supporting system or maybe my mental health would have been a little bit better during the whole process. Because mental health was one of the questions.
Not during IVF.
All right.
But I feel like I deserved, you know what those things they call push presents? I feel like your girl deserved a push present. But I didn't get one.
I mean, you're not from the South.
But to be fair, I don't think you knew what that was until...
accent in that one there.
Oh, that's my West Virginia coming out.
Yeah, there it is. I knew that one.
It's not too late to get one. You're right.
Okay, and then the last community question I had before we get in lightning round, and then we can sit and chill afterwards for those that are live, because I like to give a little bit of extra to the people that are here live. So parenthood, since parenthood's so new, what is the best advice that you've gotten for being a brand new parent, and what is the worst advice that you think you've gotten by being a brand new parent?
The best advice, I would say, and we're not really able to do it yet because we haven't found a good babysitter yet, but the most frequently given advice I got was to continue making time for yourself and your partner just without the baby. Like, have date nights and have time where you are just able to concentrate on each other.
Yeah.
And that's been hard because I mean, I do appreciate our little bit of time we get while he's asleep, but I really need to be able to like go out to dinner or, you know, do little things together.
Yeah.
Because just taking care of a tiny human all day together doesn't really count as like dating.
Ours, what we used to do is we had a deck in the back of the yard, and when the kids would finally go to sleep, we would actually go outside of the house and either watch a TV show on the deck or have a drink together, and then out, like, just kind of like, we couldn't be in the house anymore. Like, it just, we're always in the house, the kids are running around and stuff, but once they go to bed, it's go outside and sit and just relax and chill with each other and just understand that that's your escape, even if you can't find a babysitter or go out to dinner or date night or all that kind of stuff. Just find something that you can appreciate together away from the norm. Yeah, that would be that way. And what's the worst advice that you've probably got that you're like, no, that's not for me? Do you think?
Oh God, it's probably something Spider said at some point.
I'm sure.
The worst advice. Oh no.
That's probably true too. Yeah, Spider, that's probably true. What's the worst thing you said? I mean, not I wouldn't say the worst thing you said. Never mind. Don't say that. Don't say the worst thing that you've ever said.
I got some bad name suggestions, and then pretty much anybody who like obsessively pushes breastfeeding made me feel like even worse that I couldn't do it. So I feel like pushing that as hard as it's pushed sometimes is maybe not good.
Yeah. Mine,
it's hard to not be able to do something you want to do and then also have people telling you about how important, how good, and how blah 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 blah.
Yeah. I think if I look back at it, the worst advice ours is like, you would say like patience is a good thing, and people are like, I'll have patience on that, whatever. Like, I think the word patience pissed me off after a while because it just was repetitive. Everybody was like, well, have patience. They'll walk or they'll talk or they'll do this or do that. Like, it's still not to this day. Like, it's still like, oh, have patience, you know,
yeah.
like wetting the beds and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And like, have patience, they'll get it that way. And like, shut the fuck up. I'm done with the patience bullshit. like, I'm done with patience. My God.
And the people that'll be like, when you're pregnant and you'll complain about something, they'll be like, well, wait till the baby comes. Like, just because it's going to happen then doesn't mean that I like that it's happening now too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah. Like sometimes just saying, hey, if you need something, I'm here. Just say that. That's all you need to say. Like, you don't need to give your 2 cents and everything. Yeah, exactly. Like, to be honest with you, that's everything. Like, have patience, your studio will be done. Or have patience that this will work out. Or like, oh, you're having trouble with this or your computer. Or like, even as a streamer, you're like, oh, have patience, it'll work itself out or whatever like that. Shut the fuck up. Like, that doesn't help my stress right now because I'm dropping frames and this and that, whatever. Like, all that kind of shit. Or this game isn't working right. Or it's stuttering. Like, you know, you'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Like, I mean, I'll be fine. Validating for someone to tell you to be patient.
I get it.
Yeah, it's there. All right, so for everybody that understands how this interview works, we sit down with everybody just about once a month, and then we record a portion of it for YouTube. So next month in December, we'll release it. So if for some reason you want someone to learn about IVF or just a little bit more about Nikki, it'll be on the YouTube channel next month. And then we do kind of like give you a heads up. We kind of like, hey, these are the questions I came up with. I give it to her. She rereads them and says, yeah, I'm okay with them. Or everybody has a choice of this question I don't want to talk about. Let's cut that one out or add this one in here to kind of explain things a little bit better. But there's one section that you don't see, and that's my lightning round. It's more for fun, more for just have a little fun with it. These are kind of sometimes are this or that kind of questions, or sometimes they're like a question that would give you like a quick answer. Now, I would say elaborate all you want on them, but don't think too hard about the answer, is I guess what I would say.
Okay.
Like when we ask it, come up with an answer, and then we'll like, okay, why do you pick this? And then we'll kind of elaborate or whatever, but the answer itself, come up quickly. We're going to start with easy ones, and then they get a little bit harder and harder. There's only a few, and then we'll open it up to chat. We'll talk about stream and all that kind of stuff. Do the last intro or like talk about you. We'll cut the YouTube channel, and then we'll sit here live in Twitch and give a little bit of conversation to anybody else that wants this. But for the YouTube channel, lightning round, easy ones. Energy drinks or coffee?
Coffee.
And what?
Actually, don't like any energy drinks.
Yeah. What is? You said Starbucks, so we talked about that earlier. So if you missed that one, favorite drinks earlier.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a little coffee bar for my house right now. I've got like 4 coffee syrups, and then I've got like, I'm asking for an espresso for Christmas, and I don't know, it's just like a cute little coffee bar. I love, and I don't drink hot coffee. I only like cold coffee, but
the one thing
I still want a coffee pot there.
I'm going to tell you this much right now, and and somebody will laugh at me when I say this. If you're going to ask for something, you're fair enough. Thanks for that, Allie. If for some reason you have a choice of coffee maker or something like that, find one that has Wi-Fi connectivity. Because if you can set it all up,
what would you do?
This is how this is the right ones. So if you're on stream, you're doing something, or you're like sitting with baby, you're doing whatever, and you feel like, oh man, I need a coffee, you can just pick up your phone, push the button, and it'll start making whatever you want. And then by the time you're able to get up and go get it, find the Wi-Fi connectivity for that one. Yes, for sure. Yes, there is. That won't
work for me though, because I don't like hot.
Oh well, I mean,
I'm weird. I just like the cold brew. I buy it at the market.
Yeah. I think and a milk frother.
Yeah, that's why I want the Nespresso for the milk frother.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because then the Ninja one, we had a Ninja one. It wasn't Wi-Fi, but like it would make everything and get everything started.
I've seen those. Yeah. Those look nice.
And then you just put the ice in the cup, and then you just throw it under there. So it's already starting. You just have to get up and put the ice in there. So like it does all that kind of stuff. So all right. So coffee over energy drinks. Got it. Quiet night in or big social event?
I would say right now I would love to go to a big event because I don't get to. But normal me before baby would have probably picked the quiet night in.
That's fair. I totally.
So
I can
I
totally
could go
relate to
either.
that.
Right now I'll pick social event.
There's a get out about. What would be your like
Yes.
like wedding or just go out and movie, just something to eat? What kind of big social event would you want to like if you could do anything right now, what would you want to do?
His company is having like a Christmas party in like DC that I would love to go to, but it's a day he works, so we can't. But like something like that is fun to me.
No, I like those too, especially if you can get along with the people you're at and you're with somebody that you can actually have a conversation with. I've been to certain parties.
I'm weird. I like baby showers and weddings, and I like all that stuff.
So have a barbecue. Have people over and just have a
We don't even have a grill. I need a grill.
I am pretty sure somebody would do that. And you get to dress up. Yeah, you're Sparkle. You're fantastically right.
Yes, I love dressing up.
Yeah, me too. At least getting somewhat nice. Put my cowboy boots on and go out. Chance to put those on. I like that. So this one could be different because I could answer both of these, but city life or country life?
Country life.
What if...
But not like too country. I don't mind being like 30 minutes out, you know.
Like, what is your like favorite thing about being country living over city life?
You don't have drunk neighbors partying and playing loud music and setting off fireworks and all the other bad things that they do.
Yeah. Mine, I would prefer country living because you have more land to kind of play with kids and stuff like that. But I think my biggest thing would be it has to have either strong internet or great Wi-Fi.
That's true. Internet is important.
Yeah, my mom lived in the country. I loved going out there, but like the only thing that was available was like satellite internet, and it was like I could probably dial up and get better internet or dial up probably for that bullshit. It was terrible. This one here, I mean, it's getting better now. Yeah, it is very much so because I have another person that lives in middle of nowhere, and they have fiber, and they had fiber before I did, and I live in the city, so I was pretty pissed off about that. But we have fiber now, so that's good. But it was really bad. Best ways of communicating: texting or talking?
Texting is my default. I don't know if that's the best, but that's what I do most.
That's what you do the most? Appalachia, and yeah, there's a lot of places that have fiber. Yeah. All right, Spider, have a good night. I appreciate it. Good to see you, by the way. I'm glad you popped in before you went to bed. The only thing that I say,
hey, Spider,
I do text more than I talk, but I enjoy talking more than texting because of texting.
Yeah, if I'm talking to like my mom or something, I'd rather call.
And how many times have you texted your husband or vice versa, and a text has got lost in translation? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Tone, like tone doesn't translate. Yeah.
Nope. You read something, you're like, what the hell? It's like, I didn't mean it like that. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Now the funny questions and random ones. Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
Socks with what?
Sandals. Are you a socks and sandals person? Or
I do if I'm
not?
like yes. Well, I don't like out in public, but if I need to like run out of the house and put the trash can out, I will. But absolutely not in public.
Not in public. Yep.
Yes.
So explain this one, and this isn't a this or that one, but this is just an explanation for those that don't know. Why are cats better than dogs?
You can leave them on their own for days at a time and they will still be fine and they won't have pooped and peed all over your house and all that stuff. I feel like that's my main draw, and just their chill energy, which there's people who will disagree with this that have kids that I know come in my stream.
Yeah.
But it's hard to describe, but I'm definitely a cat person over a dog person.
Oh yeah, I mean we know that.
I like that I like that they bond with a person. Like a dog will just be excited for everybody, but like my cat, like she's gonna be way more happy to see me than some random stranger.
That's fair.
Like I don't know.
No, I get that. I mean, they're all.
I
mean,
just love them.
no, I know that's always
Purring.
a discussion.
I love purring.
Yeah, what like yeah, having kittens in the name, you're like, no shit. Like, yeah. That's why I always thought it was
There's just 100 reasons.
yeah, there was never like there's a this and that, like are you a dog person or a cat person? That's easy, like obviously with Nikki here, but like it's always like, okay, like now explain why is the problem, and people don't understand that some days. So that's the biggest one, is to tell you why.
I feel like it also depends on like what animals you encounter in your life, because like I had a really, really cool, really good cat growing up, so that kind of morphed me into a cat person. But maybe if I had a really cool dog growing up, I would have been a dog person. But our dog was kind of a doofus, and I think an old woman stole him because he like never came back one day.
Oh geez. Like I think my kids, I grew up as dogs and cats. I liked the dogs. We had a bad experience with a dog with a kid. And I'm sure that probably my kids will probably grow up as cat people just because of that experience. But
I do worry about that with Aiden.
Yeah. Do you keep your cat away from Aiden for a little while, or do you try to interact with them both at the same time so they can get used to each other?
She will come if I'm holding him and sitting on the couch. She will come and plop herself right up against us. Like she really doesn't mind him unless he's actively screaming, crying.
Like everybody else, yeah, for sure.
She's like goodbye, but otherwise she would come. I have pictures of her trying to lay on him, which didn't really work out because he moves a lot. But she's really good with him. I don't put any barriers up.
That's good. I got 3 left. Some of these might sound weird, but it's funny. Have you ever slapped anybody in the face?
Probably like my sister, like when we were growing up, I'm sure I slapped her in the face. As an adult, no. No, I don't think so.
I mean,
I've never like been in a fight or anything.
Like
so.
you've probably wanted to, but just haven't done it. like the rest of us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I've wanted to.
Bitch
Have I
was
ever
like
slapped you in the face?
pretty sure that'll happen when we meet. That's funny.
No.
Okay. How many stuffed animals belong to you and wouldn't let your kids have?
One. There's probably only one I wouldn't let them have. I have a big stuffed. I don't know. I don't know if you know or not, but there's this famous cat. Its name is Lil Bub.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big stuffed Lil Bub Duffy.
That you would not be
the kitty
ever.
died. The real life kitty.
That you would never.
Yeah, I wouldn't let Aiden destroy Lil Bub.
Yeah. So he has it.
Here she is.
That one is specifically yours, and never the kids. Got it.
Yeah.
There's always one.
You can have like Pikachu and Eevee and all those ones back there. Oh no, there's one more.
All right, so now there's 2.
This is one hubby got me that is like Arya.
Oh.
I take it on like my suitcase on trips and stuff because it reminds me of her. 2.
So 2 that
That's
would
it.
never be Aiden's. Got it.
Yeah.
Two questions left. If the toilet paper roll is really low but not completely out, do you replace it or leave it for someone else to do?
I will get the new toilet paper roll and set it somewhere nearby. Or I will just use more than I need just to use it and change it. I won't like leave somebody there with like 2 sheets or something.
Yeah, Allie's like, I replace it. Yeah, I mean, like, I've been there before where I go sit down and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? like, how are you not? And I just like, that's always a funny question to me. I always want to throw that in there. And then the last one, and this is hopefully the Aiden doesn't see this later on in the year and wonder what your answer is, but I'm going to ask it to it anyway. Do you still believe in Santa Claus? And will you use Elf on a Shelf while you raise your kid?
Oh, I don't believe in Santa Claus, but I feel like I will be obligated to do Elf on a Shelf. But my parents never did Elf on a Shelf, and I don't feel like I was missing out. So
I think Elf.
I'll probably do it though.
I think Elf on a Shelf is kind of creepy anyway.
Yeah, we never had it growing up. But.
No. And what's your take on Santa Claus with kids? Like, what is your thought process of that? Like, do you teach him to believe?
I'm going to threaten him with it until it stops working. I'll be like, Santa's watching you until I can't any longer, until they know.
Yeah. That's what we do too, so I totally understand that. I got a band Ghost related Elf on a Shelf. Okay. I mean, if it's like nostalgic or something like that related to something like, I totally get it. But the normal Elf on the Shelf, I think it's creepy as shit. But all right, before we head out, if anybody else has any last questions before we end recording on the YouTube, you just let me know. Or until he meets a drunk Santa at the mall. I mean,
I'm dreading taking him up to the mall Santa.
Yeah, I
know I have to do it, but
I definitely did. They still believe in Santa now. I still teach them that, and I haven't said that the person, whatever, but I still believe in like the theory of like the positivity of Santa, and my favorite like Christmas items are like Santas and sleighs and all that kind of stuff. So like belief is different of how you like see it. But anyway, before we, I was corrupted by a toddler by a drunk. Oh my God, I can't. We should probably experience that.
I'll have to hear that story.
Exactly. I want to hear that story too. So before I stop recording for YouTube channel, you want to tell them, for those that catch this later on, like where to find you, how to like Instagram, Twitch, where you stream, like scheduling, like all that kind of stuff. Like how would they find you? Obviously the links will be in the description below, but feel free to let them know.
Find me on Twitch at NikkiKittens. I think my Instagram might have Miss in front. I'm not quite sure, but if not, I'm sure if you search NikkiKittens, you'll find me. I don't really use Twitter. I don't really use anything else, so that's basically the only places you'll find me. I'm pretty bad at social media, so also don't really have a streaming schedule. I kind of just stream when I can fit it in right now.
Yeah.
I aspire one day to be like you and have a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not easy.
We'll
with
see.
Schedule, but Sparkle says Discord.
Yes, Discord and Insta are the best for when I announce when I am gonna stream. So
Habitual says MS.
Okay, it does have the miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
hit and miss in the description below. If you see the Discord link and link it up and then do it. Some people don't put them in the description, but if there's approval, you'll have all the links. You'll have the Instagram, the Discord, Twitch, and all that kind of stuff. You'll find it. And in the stream, it's like literally been there the whole fucking time. So if you missed it, then it's like right there, then you haven't been paying attention at all. So for YouTube, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys later.